Chapter 993. The Masha clansman couldn't be bothered with the reaction of the night. He was in a good mood. So, the moment it entered the golden pool, the Masha clone felt the space around it distort. It was obvious that it had entered the abyss passageway. An extremely strong metal energy filled the surroundings. This was a passageway that led directly to the origin of the universe, the metal law ocean. The Masha clone was also heading towards the origin of the universe. Rumble. Just as he was about to reach the origin grounds, an irresistible energy from the universe itself suppressed the Masha clansman. It immediately kicked the Masha clansman out of the passage. The Masha clansman flipped in space and floated in midair. This was a patch of space. In the distance there were some irregular celestial bodies, some desolate huge asteroids, some desolate continent fragments. The Masha clansman immediately checked the universe coordinates with a look of glee. I'm actually a few light years away from that mysterious place. This trip to the universe origin grounds, he was kicked back. The coordinates were only a few light years away from where the space heart was. Luckily, this place is close to the 9 underworld space. Haha, not only did I not waste time, I even saved a lot of time. The Masha clansman was filled with glee. Feel the changes this time. The Masha clansman couldn't take it any longer. He began to carefully feel the changes in his body. Even if he really acquired the space heart, he probably wouldn't be as excited as he was now. After all, the space heart, at least before Luo Feng's strength reached a certain level, it had little use. The Masha clenched his fists. The strong energy caused the space around to tremble. Break! The Masha clansman casually waved his right hand, forming a claw shape and tearing space apart. Haha. This is simply too satisfying. The Masha clansman felt that immense power. Before this, the Masha clansman had always been weak. Maybe it relied on its law comprehension to fight against an immortal. However, its strength was only at the pinnacle of the Sector Lord realm. 100 times more accurate. The Masha clansman's eyes gleamed with excitement. The senses of experts were extremely accurate. The Masha clansman could clearly confirm that his strength was 100 times that of a Sector Lord. No more, no less. One must know that out of the trillions of bloodlines in the universe, even the 12 pinnacle bloodlines of the space beast like the Golden Horn beast only had 10 times the strength of a Sector Lord. However, the Masha clansman could reach 100 times the strength of a Sector Lord. This was already considered a normal special life form. A space heart was equivalent to creating a special life form. Of course, this was also related to the Masha clan's life form. This space heart was indeed a treasure suitable for the Masha clan's life form transformation. The weaker one was, the better the effect would be. As far as I know, it's extremely difficult to improve one's genetic level. Even for the experts of the human race, it would be very difficult to increase their strength by 10 times using all kinds of precious treasures. The Masha clansman thought to himself, it's probably the same for the Masha clansman. It's already hard to raise it by 10 times. I didn't expect my Masha clansman to be able to raise it by 100 times. That's right, this is the space heart, an origin energy treasure core. In truth, within the Masha clan, treasures like the space heart that were suitable for raising one's genetic level were usually used by the upper echelons themselves. Even though it wouldn't be as exaggerated as Luo Feng's, they would still use it themselves. Unless there was an absolute genius Sector Lord that was hard to come by in a trillion years. Only then would they have the right to use it. After feeling the 100 times increase in strength, the Masha clansman began to teleport again. So, the Masha clansman immediately merged into space and appeared over 100 million km away. Shwa, 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 shwa. He continuously teleported everywhere, using his teleportation to his heart's content. Ha ha ha, my teleportation actually doesn't cause any ripples in space. Ha! The moment the Masha clansman stopped, he couldn't help but be overjoyed, laughing happily in space. There was a difference between an undying and a universe knight's teleportation. An undying's teleportation was like forcefully entering the ripples in space and then reappearing from a distant place. It would cause special changes in the ripples. Other warriors could easily feel it. Like in the ice prison, the moment he teleported, he would be easily discovered. The Universe Knight's teleportation was different. After grasping the space laws, they could perfectly merge into the ripples, not causing any special changes. Reappearing in a distant place wouldn't cause any changes. The ripples were still the same. Hence, when Luo Feng stole the black metal board back then, Zi Haikao Knight teleported behind him. Luo Feng didn't even notice. This was the difference between teleportation and teleportation. Universe Knights could teleport up to 1,000 light years and not cause any ripples. An undying could teleport 1 light year and cause special ripples in the universe space. I don't cause any ripples either. The Masha clansman was incomparably happy. I've never felt this before. Even before, I've never felt this close to space. Back in the Cone Mountain, I felt like I was part of the space. Now that I'm teleporting, the feeling is even clearer, easily merging into the ripples and reappearing in a distant place. If the Masha clansman from before was the darling of space, then the current Masha clansman was a space special life form. The compatibility was thousands to tens of thousands of times more than before. I can feel the ripples in space. The distance has changed too. The Masha clansman was filled with joy. I feel like I can teleport up to 100 light years. Teleporting 100 light years without causing any ripples. This was the current Masha clansman. Haha! The Masha race doppelganger was overjoyed, but he felt that it was normal. After all, special life forms were already heaven-defying. He had absorbed all the essence energy of the space heart. One must know that special life forms like the Silver Eye were huge in size and had many heaven-defying techniques. Let's see my final technique. The Masha clansman's eyes were filled with anticipation. When the second engraving appeared on the life crystal, the Masha clansman knew he had another natural ability. It was just that before he used it, he didn't know its true power. The natural abilities of a special life form were naturally heaven-defying. If one were to say that Luo Feng's 9-level manual was a man-made evolution, then the Masha clansman's evolution was more in line with the universe's laws. It was a natural evolution. No matter how much Luo Feng's earth body or golden horn beast body improved, they wouldn't gain another natural ability. However, the Masha clansman's life crystal had another set of engravings, giving him another natural ability. Let's begin. The Masha clansman immediately activated the new set of engravings within his body. 1. Immediately, with the Masha clansman as the center, everything within a 10,000 kilometers radius was imprinted within a Masha clansman's mind. That incomparable control and familiarity with the surrounding space was simply too wonderful. I am space. Space is me. This is my domain. The Masha clansman's voice was hoarse, his eyes filled with excitement. The moment he unleashed his natural ability, the engravings transmitted large amounts of information into his mind. This natural ability is domain, a new natural ability. Domain. My true body. The Masha clansman was filled with anticipation. 1. A blurry gold light suddenly appeared in the space beside him. Within the light, a silhouette stepped out. It was the silver-armored and winged Luo Feng. The Masha clansman looked at the silver-armored and winged Luo Feng. The two exchanged glances and smiled. Luo Feng's true body immediately took out Extreme Rainbow Emperor from his world ring. Greetings, Master. Extreme Rainbow Emperor bowed to Luo Feng and the Masha clansman. Their soul connection made him naturally feel as though these two were his masters. Within a 1 million kilometers area, activate the space lock. Luo Feng ordered. Yes. Extreme Rainbow Emperor replied respectfully. Following which his god energy emanated and swiftly activated the space lock. The originally normal ripples in the space all stopped. Master, within a 1 million kilometers area, the ripples have already been sealed. There's no way to teleport within this area. Extreme Rainbow Emperor said respectfully. Ha ha! Luo Feng laughed as he looked at the Masha clansman. The Masha clansman, however, closed his eyes, enjoying the feeling of unleashing his new natural ability domain. The moment it was unleashed, with himself as the center, a 10,000 kilometers area would be under his control. This was the domain. Following which, the Masha clansman smiled. So, he vanished from thin air and appeared 5,000 kilometers away. This Extreme Rainbow Emperor stared wide-eyed. The Masha clansman flickered again and appeared 10,000 kilometers away. Following which, he continued to flash, time and time again. Shio, 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 shio. The Masha clansman continued to change, almost as though the space lock didn't exist. How can he teleport? How can he? Extreme Rainbow Emperor was completely shocked. The theory of teleportation was to merge with the ripples in space and follow the ripples to instantly appear in a distant location. The moment the ripples were locked, then there was no way to teleport. Even a knight wouldn't be able to resist it. Indeed, before unleashing this natural ability, even though the Masha clansman could easily merge with the ripples and not cause any ripples, he definitely couldn't vanish under the space lock. This is the domain. Within the domain, the space is me and I am the space. I can instantly transform into 10,000 kilometers of space, becoming part of the space and merging with it before appearing again. The Masha clansman was filled with glee. This wasn't teleportation. He didn't teleport either. What he did was only two things. Space. It became a 10,000 kilometers radius of space. And then it transformed into the Masha clansman. Naturally, he could choose to appear anywhere within 10,000 kilometers. This was the domain, a heavenly defying technique that couldn't be locked down. Within this domain, the Masha clansman could appear anywhere. The special life form's natural abilities are heavenly defying. Like the Silver Eye's endless reincarnation, the moment one is targeted by his eyes, many warriors will fall. Like the Bug Emperor, he's a unique life form in the universe. Even a knight has been killed by him. His natural abilities must be even more terrifying. Luo Feng nodded. The Masha clansman's new natural ability, domain, isn't a direct attack. To attack, it still has to rely on origin law comprehension and creating techniques. However, it's a true assassination, escape, and exploration method. TSK. The Masha clansman is destined to be an assassination-type life form. This new natural ability is most suitable for this type of life form. Within the domain, the Masha clansman was everywhere. P.S. 2 chapters completed. I'll make up for it tomorrow, Saturday, 3 chapters. To be continued. If you like this work, please Kamachidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 994. In terms of direct attacks, the Masha clansman couldn't compare to the Silver-Eyed and other special life forms. However, in terms of assassination and concealment, it was definitely one of the top in the universe. South, the Masha clansman immediately vanished and became a piece of metal within Luo Feng's arm guard. With the Masha clansman, the universe is vast. Where can I go? Luo Feng was filled with glee and pride. After all, the Masha clansman's normal teleportation was already comparable to a universe knight's, just that the distance was shorter. And the natural domain technique was something that one couldn't train even if they wanted to. Before, I needed close to 10 days to reach 9 underworld space. Now that the Masha clansman can teleport over 100 light years, many dangerous places can be teleported over. Haha, I can reach 9 underworld space in half a day. Luo Feng waved his hand and kept Extreme Rainbow Emperor in his world ring. With a whoosh, he disappeared into the void. Even in the ancestral God's secret region, there are very few dangerous places that could take up 100 light years. Even if there were, Luo Feng could easily go around them. Half a day later, Luo Feng appeared in space. His silver wings expanded, and he gazed at the distant space. 9 underworld space. Luo Feng said softly. In the distant, blurry space, the ocean surged. At least from the outside, the 9 underworld space looked like an endless water world. Who would have thought that in this 12 light-year space, just the inheritors alone know that there are a few beings with universe lord levels? Luo Feng sighed softly. There are countless treasures hidden here. Many inheritors have no hope of coming down to search for the treasures. However, most of them will die. Let's hope luck is with me and bless me with the world tree's leaf. Luo Feng's eyes were filled with desire and fighting spirit. If he had the world tree as his body, his future would be limitless. Natural ability controls space and time, God country, an incomparably huge God body. These were all things Luo Feng desired. South Luo Feng vanished and immediately teleported into 9 underworld space. The quiet and gloomy mountain range continued to rise and fall. There were no plants or leaves on the mountain range, only desolate rocks. The only thing that added a touch of color to the mountain range was the waterfall. The waterfall fell from an extremely high place and crashed into the pool below. The pool water flowed in all directions along a small stream. In a canyon filled with desolate rocks, the water flowed. Whoosh! The silver-armored and silver-winged Luo Feng appeared in midair. We're finally here. Luo Feng surveyed the surrounding desolate rocks and revealed a smile. Desolate Rock Island. Although there were a lot of dangerous places in the netherworld, there were still some safe places that could give the inheritors a foothold. For example, the Desolate Rock Island was a well-known safe place. For countless years, no danger had ever been discovered on the Desolate Rock Island, and no inheritors had ever been attacked by the terrifying existences of the netherworld dimension. Safety also means desolation. Other than water and rocks, there's nothing else. Luo Feng shook his head. Whoosh! Becoming a silver light, Luo Feng swiftly flew above the mountain range. Remains. Luo Feng gazed below, looking at the remains of the armors, shaking his head. The inheritors that died here were probably killed by the other inheritors. Although the barren rock island was the safest place in the entire 9 underworlds dimension, and there were no terrifying existences that originally resided in the 9 underworlds dimension, it was common for inheritors to fight for treasures. After flying for hundreds of millions of kilometers, Luo Feng flew past the highest mountain range and saw the distant scenery that captivated him. How beautiful! Luo Feng exclaimed. Standing on the highest mountain peak of the barren rock island, Luo Feng gazed into the distance. Outside the island was an endless ocean. The ocean seemed endless. At first glance, it was azure blue, following which it became purple, then blood red, then transparent like crystal, golden, silver white, dark gray, azure blue. The colors constantly changed. It was incomparably mysterious. This is the 9 underworlds ocean, Luo Feng exclaimed. The 9 underworlds dimension was mainly an endless ocean. In the ocean, there were many large and small islands. There were natives living there, and on some of the islands resided terrifying existences. For example, the world tree lived on one of the islands. That island was incomparably huge and was named Tree Island by the inheritors. The barren rock island was incomparably small. It was one of the most common of the 1,000 islands in the 9 underworlds ocean. Tree Island, however, was much larger. It was one of the top 10 largest islands in the 9 underworlds ocean. The 9 underworlds ocean is vast and endless. Similarly, it's filled with danger. Luo Feng thought. Other than those huge islands, the 9 underworlds ocean is terrifying too, especially that 9 underworlds whirlpool. It's said that the moment one falls into that whirlpool, there's almost no hope of survival. Luo Feng looked up in a direction. According to the coordinates, that direction was the direction of the Tree Island. However, the distance was too far. Luo Feng could only see the endless ocean and not the Tree Island. I'll have to rely on the Masha clansman. Even if the Masha clansman fails, it can still be bred again. Luo Feng nodded. So, a black-clothed Luo Feng appeared. The black-clothed Luo Feng's body immediately transformed into an inheritor. Following closely, the Masha clansman unleashed teleportation. With one teleportation, he easily crossed the 9 underworlds ocean and arrived at the tree island. "I'll wait for the news." Luo Feng's body nodded, after which he swiftly flew into a mountain cave within a mountain range and activated his mini-scanning device to hide. High up in the sky, the Masha clansman floated in mid-air. Looking ahead a few 100 million km away, there was an endless, huge island. It's beautiful. The desolate rock island is simply ugly compared to it. However, this paradise-like place is so terrifying. The Masha clan's clone squinted his eyes and looked at the beautiful scenery of the island. There were all sorts of plants on the island. It was simply a holy land for plants. There was a sea of purple flowers. There was a sea of rainbow flowers, or a wave of leaves. The scenery was incomparably beautiful. The most glaring was that huge tree that shot into the sky. That huge tree was the tallest. Its entire body was emerald in color, and its crown was like a canopy. Every leaf was sparkling and translucent, almost like a crystal carving. It was like emerald jade, and the endless life energy within caused the countless flowers and plants around it to sway. The strongest world tree, a universe knight, level special life form that has the strength of a universe lord. Even though there are 9 of them, it's the strongest. The Masha clansman looked at the distant world tree deep within the island. Even though it was deep within the island, it was simply too huge. It was 590 million kilometers tall, and its crown was over 1 billion kilometers in diameter. Its crown was already larger than the entire desolate rock island. Plus, the tree trunk was like a huge emerald glowing faintly. It was very eye-catching. 3 immortal rank world trees. 5 sector lord rank world trees. The Masha clansman immediately saw the other 8 world trees around the strongest world tree. They were of different heights. The tallest was immortal rank. The shorter was sector lord. Even the sector lord was 60 million kilometers tall, surpassing any other plant life form that wasn't a world tree on the island. On the island, even though there are many normal flowers and plants, there are many other plant life forms too. The Masha clansman frowned as he looked. The strongest on the island is world tree, but the other plant life forms have immortal rank as well. According to the information, there are even universe knight level plant life forms. However, because they are of different species, they are much smaller than world trees. However, if I enter the island, I might get ambushed if I'm not careful. So I have to avoid the other plant life forms first. Let's reach world tree first. The Masha clansman didn't hesitate anymore. So, he immediately teleported and entered the island. Tree Island, with the world tree as the leader, there were large amounts of other plant life forms. These plant life forms were mostly common plant life forms. Only a few were special life forms. However, in terms of strength, many of them could pose a threat to the Masha clansman. Can't see me, can't see me, can't notice me, can't notice me. Like a dandelion seed, a fist-sized furry ball floated in midair. This was what the Masha clansman had transformed into. Luo Feng couldn't think of any safer methods, as plant life forms usually didn't like to move. They were usually rooted in the soil. If he transformed into a plant and moved, he would definitely attract attention. One had to know that some of the stronger plant life forms had extremely high intelligence, especially the undying level. Their intelligence was no less than that of humans. Luo Feng didn't dare to teleport beside the world tree, as that was the territory of a universe lord-level being. If he teleported there, the strongest world tree would definitely notice the Masha clansman. I'll float and float until I reach the world tree. The ball floated slowly in midair. So slow, its floating speed is really slow. The ball was already trying its best to fly as fast as it could towards the world tree region. However, it couldn't overstep its boundaries, like flying against the wind, like flying at sublight speed. If he did that, he would definitely be easily discovered. The moment he was discovered, he would have no hope at all. I have plenty of patience. I'm not in a rush. I'm not in a rush. As long as I can reach the side of the world tree and get close to it, it's best if it has leaves. I'll leave after I get one. I'm not greedy at all. The Masha clansman muttered to himself. The pom-poms he had transformed into continued to float. Float, float, on this tranquil, paradise-like tree island. Among the countless floating plant seeds, the pom-pom was inconspicuous as it floated slowly. Too slow. After floating for 3 months, looking at the distant world tree, the ball howled within. P.S. Chapter 1 has arrived. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 995. After 5 months, the Masha clan finally reached the outermost area of the 9 world trees. The strongest world tree was naturally in the center, while the other 8 world trees were around it. Just the 9 world trees alone took up a quarter of the entire island's area. The other immortal and venerable rank plant life forms all avoided this area. Wang, the 9 jade-like world trees emitted waves of jade green light, forming layers of light. All the floating plant seeds were unable to pass through. The Masha pom-pom, too, noiselessly landed. I've already reached the closest world tree. The closest one to me is a sector lord-level world tree. Because of the Masha clansman's transformation, the pom-pom's hair had the function of an eye, clearly seeing everything ahead, seeing the thick trunk of the world tree that was only a few tens of millions of km away from him. There's actually no leaves. The Masha clansman raged, roaring within. What he was looking forward to the most was a sector lord-level world tree's leaf on the ground. Then, he would steal one and immediately teleport away. With his current teleportation abilities, even a knight wouldn't be able to find him. There's no choice. I can't pick it up. I can only steal it. The Masha clansman immediately made his decision. The pom-pom's hair also saw the luxuriant leaves above him. Even though it was a few tens of millions of km away from the world tree trunk, the tree crown had already extended above the pom-pom. The leaves were almost like jade carvings. Every single one was crystal clear. Only withered leaves will naturally fall. Every leaf of the world tree contains so much energy. Why would it fall? The pom-pom's hair moved with the wind. He was already prepared. On the distant, desolate rock island, Luo Feng's body was waiting within the cave. It has to work, it has to work. If it succeeds, my third body will have hope. This pom-pom rolled on the ground under the wind, occasionally touching the light and bouncing back before being blown away by the wind again. It continued to roll irregularly. Whoosh! This ordinary pom-pom disappeared into thin air. On the edge of the lush crown of the sector Lord World tree, on a branch as thick as an arm, a blurry silhouette suddenly appeared. The moment the silhouette appeared, it fiercely grabbed onto a leaf that looked like it was carved from jade. It fiercely pulled down. How strong was the Masha clan's clone? That was 100 times sector lord strength. This tug instantly caused one of the thick branches of the sector lord level world tree to tilt, causing the entire tree to shake. Despicable outsiders. An angry and cold voice came from the countless emerald branches and leaves. He didn't pull it off. The Masha clansman was stunned. Just as he tried to pull and failed to break it, the surrounding leaves that were originally swaying with the wind all surged towards the Masha clansman. A surging energy completely wrapped around the Masha clansman. Hung like a crushed egg, the Masha clansman instantly shattered. He couldn't resist at all. Even the life crystal core was completely shattered. The Masha clan's clone was dead. So weak. He should be an undying. How did he die so easily? The Sector Lord level world tree was extremely puzzled. It too had met a few inheritors who tried to steal its branches. One had to know that the branches of the world tree could become a life tree and had the power to buff the god country. However, it was a Sector Lord level world tree. Normal small branches didn't have much effect. Normally, it would just break a branch. This caused the moment the Sector Lord level world tree noticed an enemy stealing its branches, it would immediately go all out. Desolate Rock Island. That strong? Luo Feng within the cave was shocked. The the Masha clansman actually died before he could even resist? From the exchange earlier, it was definitely Emperor level. Luo Feng was incomparably certain. At the same time that the Masha clansman didn't manage to break it, countless branches and leaves surged over, instantly shattering the Masha clansman. Absolute advantage. I estimate the Sector Lord level world tree's life and genetic level should be 1,000 times that of a human's. It also has the Universe Lord level world tree's teachings. It should know how to amplify its body and amplify it by tens of times. That's tens of thousands of Sector Lord strength, along with some natural attacks. Luo Feng nodded within. It really was Emperor level. It wasn't strange that the Masha clansman was instantly killed. The other world trees didn't seem to have any reaction to the Masha clansman's death. Luo Feng revealed a smile. Just as I expected, such a small threat, the other world trees wouldn't care. Especially that strongest world tree. I'm afraid only a Sector Lord level world tree's life form would that strongest world tree make a move. A fall into the pit, a gain in your wit. Luo Feng calculated the next step of his plan. After a long while, a blurry gold light appeared in the cave. A silhouette appeared within it. It was the Masha clansman. If I fail once, I'll just waste a bit more energy. Luo Feng nodded within. The Masha clansman extended his hand at Luo Feng. Luo Feng flipped his hand, and a fire god crystal that emitted a powerful energy appeared in his palm. The Masha clansman received it and immediately teleported away. I don't believe I'll fail this time. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed sharply. This fire god crystal's power isn't that strong, but it can still kill an official level undying. It's equivalent to an Emperor Pinnacle's casual attack. That world tree is only Sector Lord level, and it can't even ignite its body. It definitely won't be able to block it. Because of its huge size, I'm afraid it'll only be able to destroy a 100,000 kilometers area. It'll only be able to injure it. This scale of attack, that strongest world tree probably won't interfere. Luo Feng muttered within. If it was a disciple he nurtured, he wouldn't interfere if there wasn't a huge threat. As long as it explodes, it'll definitely be leaves and branches flying everywhere. After snatching a bit, I'll immediately teleport away. Luo Feng's eyes were filled with anticipation. Simultaneously, he felt where the Masha clansman was. I've arrived. I'll definitely succeed this time. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The Masha clansman first teleported to the air above the ocean, still a distance away from the tree island. This distance isn't too far. I can accurately sense where it was before. The Masha clansman looked from afar, his eyes gleaming. Move. So, the Masha clansman teleported, and when he appeared again, he was already at the crown of the Sector Lord World Tree. Explode. The Masha clansman fiercely threw the fire god crystal, simultaneously teleporting again. So, it vanished, leaving behind only the crystal that was thrown. Rumble. The fire god origin crystal exploded under the crown of the Sector Lord level world tree. To be able to kill an official level undying, it was comparable to an Emperor Pinnacle level attack. Immediately, the 300,000 kilometers area around the fire god origin crystal was destroyed. 10,000 kilometers around it was reduced to nothingness. Even further away, there were only branches and branches left, and even further away, there were only leaves and branches left behind. A 300,000 kilometers area of damage, compared to a Sector Lord level world tree that had a diameter of over 100 million kilometers, wasn't much. And this explosion was tens of millions of km away from its main trunk. That energy ripple, even after reaching the main trunk, wasn't enough to make it tremble. Return. A large number of green branches and leaves that had been blasted away actually flew up again towards the treetop. The leaves merged into the treetop, and the 300,000 kilometer wide explosion quickly recovered under the surging life energy. Many of the damaged branches and leaves flew back and reconnected, completely intact. During the recovery process, a silhouette appeared in midair. Got it. The Masha clan's clone teleported and saw a large number of broken branches flying towards the tree crown. It immediately reached out and grabbed a broken branch. There were 3 leaves on the branch, and each leaf was broken. Go! The Masha clansman immediately teleported away. Wong! A destructive energy descended on the Masha clansman the moment he grabbed the branch. The Masha clansman shuddered and stopped moving. With a light breeze, it turned into dust. The dust dissipated in mid-air, completely disappearing. Despicable outsider! Despicable outsider! The entire crown of the Sector Lord World tree was shaking, simultaneously roaring, "Father, Father, let me personally kill him. Chi-Chi is so pitiful. She lost so many leaves. Chi-Chi, if it wasn't for Father, that outsider would have escaped." Ha ha. The other world trees laughed, some old, some crisp, some cheeky. All shut up. That Sector Lord level world tree shook all its leaves, letting out a furious roar. Little 7, his escaping methods are indeed amazing. He can teleport and disappear without causing any ripples in space. If we let him escape, it would be hard to find him. Since he hurt you, I will help you punish him. Isn't that good? A gentle voice resounded throughout the entire world tree territory. Not good, not good. That Sector Lord level world tree's countless leaves danced crazily. Then work hard, become undying like your big brother and the others, and you won't be afraid of those outsiders. The gentle voice continued. The Sector Lord level world tree's injuries from the explosion had completely recovered in this short period of time. All the branches and leaves had grown back. One couldn't even tell that it was injured before. There wasn't even a single leaf on the ground. As the 9 world trees spoke, all the other plant life forms on the island quietened down. It was completely silent. P.S. Chapter 2 has ended. There's still Chapter 3. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 996. In a quiet cave on Rock Island, Luo Feng's eyes were filled with shock. It must be the most powerful world tree. Luo Feng's original earthling body could empathize with Masha body's terrifying attack and despair. It was as if a supreme being could crush an ant with a single breath, and the Masha body was that ant. Only the strongest world tree could reach such a level. He attacked me, although he's only a universe knight. His identity as a special life form and his enormous size give him the power of a universe master. How could such a being attack Masha body? Luo Feng found it hard to believe. According to his estimation, Masha body should have appeared and grabbed the branch, then teleported himself away. It happened so quickly that even an undying world tree wouldn't have been able to stop it. "I only took 1 branch," said Luo Feng. "That explosion only slightly injured the world tree. Why did it have to kill me? And the most powerful world tree attacked me personally." Luo Feng was furious. He was so close to getting his 3rd body. As long as his 3rd body was successfully bred, he would become undying immediately. However, it seemed that he was in big trouble. The most powerful world tree attacked me, and my Masha body has been destroyed twice. That world tree must be on guard now. What should I do? Luo Feng was anxious. The more he thought about it, the angrier he got. "The most powerful world tree," said Luo Feng. "With your status, why do you have to make things difficult for me? It's just a few branches and leaves. The crown of that world tree has a diameter of more than 100 million miles. 1 or 2 branches and leaves is nothing. You'll be degrading yourself if you take action." Luo Feng's biggest headache was that most powerful world tree. It was a being comparable to a universe master, with the talent technique of controlling time and space. The most powerful world tree's ability to control time and space was no less than that of a true universe master. The power to stop time was terrifying, and it might even be able to reverse time and space. As long as the most powerful world tree was in the way, time would stop completely, and Masha body would not be able to escape. What should I do? Luo Feng thought hard. Luo Feng didn't know that the most powerful world tree had a special relationship with the other 8 world trees. They were father and son. It was like a tree growing in the soil, and as time went by, saplings would grow around it. This was the instinct of the trees. The strongest world tree was a unique existence in the universe. As a tree, he could also make small saplings grow around him. Everything was up to his will. One should know that as long as it sprouted a single branch, it would become a powerful tree of life. As the strongest world tree filled with endless life force, its life source was extremely powerful. Because he was lonely, he wanted to properly nurture the saplings. Thus, 8 saplings were born around him. He even passed a portion of his life essence to the 8 saplings. It was like the heart of space was transmitting the essence to Masha body. The strongest world tree was willing to lower its own potential to nurture the 8 saplings, which was why it was essentially like a father, always protecting and nurturing the 8 children. Furthermore, tree life forms did not like to move, and had remained here for countless years. His relationship with his 8 children was closer than the relationship between father and son in many races in the universe. It was only natural for him to be doted on and protected. In a cave on Rock Island, Luo Feng thought of a few plans in his mind. They all had a certain chance of success, but they couldn't guarantee a 100% success rate. Breeding successful. Luo Feng sensed that in the distant human territory, in the primal secret region, his Masha body had been successfully bred in the internal world of his core body. It only took a few seconds. A beam of golden light shone. It was God country transportation. It only took a few seconds to travel from the distant human territory to the ancestral God secret region. So, Masha body stepped out and showed up in the cave. Let's go. Masha body teleported himself and disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already above 9 remoteness ocean, and he could see Tree Island from afar. I'll choose the most conservative method with the highest probability. Masha body disappeared again. Among the countless pom-poms of plant seeds floating on the tree island, a seed had silently appeared. The pom-poms floated slowly toward the island again. I only need to spend 5 months to get there and land on the edge of the world trees, thought Masha body. Then, I'll ask a servant at the pinnacle of Emperor level to throw the flame, God, origin crystal and grab the branches and leaves. If a servant at the pinnacle of Emperor level tries to grab the branches and leaves, I'm afraid he'll be killed in the end. But those world trees will definitely think my pinnacle Emperor servant is the mastermind. After the battle, the branches and leaves will fly everywhere, and many of them will be blown out of the light circle. Then, my pom-poms will land on one of the branches and leaves. Then, I'll teleport right away, carrying a leaf and disappearing. Humph! Even if that being with the battle prowess of a universe master discovered the uniqueness of the pom-pom first, it would be too late for him to discover me after I teleport away, Masha body thought to himself. That was his new plan. Using the pinnacle Emperor's servant as a pawn was also a way to achieve his goal of blowing away a large number of branches and leaves. As time passed, the pom-poms that Masha body had transformed into floated toward the world trees. To the lofty world trees, what had happened before was just a small episode. After all, heirs often came to 9 remoteness space. Masha body's robberies were a small threat, and many heirs had the power to kill Sector Lord level world trees. All the world trees had to do was protect the main trunk of the 8 children. As long as the main trunk was fine, the branches and leaves could be recovered quickly. Float, float. I think we'll arrive in a month. The pom-pom drifted with the wind, mixing with the countless floating plant seeds in the beautiful tree island, in the space outside 9 remoteness space. So, 7 great beings of different races appeared at the same time. They were of different sizes. One of them was an undying being with a godly body length of more than 10 miles, which was the largest among them. The smallest of them was a winged alien that was half a meter tall. It's 9 remoteness space. We've arrived at 9 remoteness space. The 7 great beings of different races looked at 9 remoteness space with anticipation. So fast. We've arrived at 9 remoteness space in the time it takes to have a meal. It's all thanks to here Crow Knight's teleportation. Every time he teleports, he travels hundreds or even thousands of light years, passing through large areas of danger. If it weren't for here Crow Knight, it would take us a long time to arrive at 9 remoteness space, and we might even encounter danger on the way. Yes, it's all thanks to here Crow Knight. Everyone was talking. Suddenly, a piercing voice rang out. Yes, we have to thank here Crow Knight. As soon as this voice was heard, the other great beings of different races all quieted down. The one who spoke was a great being of different races. He had been standing with his back hunched. His hands and feet were shaped like claws, and his body was covered with dense scales covered with golden engravings. He had a golden mane and a pair of golden eyes. As soon as this great being spoke, the other great beings quieted down. Here Crow Knight, am I right? The great being of different races looked at here Crow Knight. Here Crow Knight was about 6 meters tall. He had 6 pairs of wings and black feathers. His whole body was covered in a layer of blood-red light. His mouth was as sharp as a knife, and his eyes were blood-red. He was here Crow Knight, one of the hundreds of millions of inheritors on Bauhinia Island. Here, Crow Knight grinned. I'm only of some help on the way. When we arrive at 9 remoteness space, we'll have to rely on you, Bark Mirror Emperor. There are dangers everywhere in 9 remoteness space. With Bark Mirror Emperor around, our chances of survival are much higher. That's right. We've been trapped in 9 remoteness space for an eternity. Many heirs want to come with you, Bark Mirror Emperor. In the end, we're the ones who benefit the most. If we find treasures in 9 remoteness space, here Crow Knight and Bark Mirror Emperor will have the first pick. We're not in a hurry. According to your contributions, Bark Mirror Emperor should have the first pick. The other 5 great beings of different races all agreed. There was 1 Universe Knight and 6 undying heirs. Here Crow Knight was the Universe Knight, and Bark Mirror Emperor was one of the undying heirs. Ha! Don't worry, Bark Mirror Emperor said, laughing. According to your contributions, I won't take what you get. Here Crow Venerable laughed as well. The other 5 agreed. Bark Mirror Emperor is famous for being crazy, ruthless, and greedy. Here Crow Knight thought to himself. When here Crow Knight saw this, he sneered inwardly. If it weren't for the fact that his probing skills are unparalleled in the universe, I wouldn't have joined forces with him. As for the 5 undying heirs, humph. The real treasures won't fall into their hands. However, I have to be careful of this Bark Mirror Emperor. I don't want to make a mistake and ruin his reputation. Here Crow Knight was very afraid of Bark Mirror Emperor. Bark Mirror Emperor was one of the top 10 undying heirs among the 100 million undying heirs. The inheritors on Bauhinia Island had been accumulating since the birth of the universe. As time passed, a large number of them had been eliminated. Perhaps most of them were of a normal level, but the top 10 were definitely the best peerless geniuses that the Ancestral God School had collected since the birth of the universe. Zhu Cheng Emperor was a unique special life form in the universe, but he only ranked top 3. Bark Mirror Emperor was also a special life form in the universe. His life level alone was 2,000 times that of an ordinary life form. Besides, his 2 talent techniques were also unique in the universe. He had been recruited by the Northern Territory Alliance, one of the superpowers in the universe, and was given a true treasure and a set of treasures to protect himself. Although he was slightly weaker than Zhu Cheng Emperor, he was still able to fight against many Universe Knights. Let's enter 9 remoteness space, Bark Mirror Emperor said. Let's go to Rock Island, which is the safest place. Okay, let's go. Here, Crow Knight teleported himself, and the 7 of them arrived at Rock Island. 3 chapters over. It's the end of the month, and the monthly votes will expire if you don't vote. Brothers, vote for Tomato. Tomato yelled, I want monthly votes. To be continued. If you like this work, you're welcome to vote for me at Chidian. Come. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 997. In the air above a desolate rock island, 7 silhouettes appeared out of nowhere. It was Crow Sage, Bark Mirror Emperor, and the rest. Desolate Rock Island. Just as the information described, It really is desolate. We're here. Crow Sage, Bark Mirror Emperor, and the rest surveyed their surroundings, their gazes sharpened. They couldn't help but be careful after entering the nine-hell dimension. Desolate Rock Island is still safe, but there are no treasures. This island is also very small. Once we leave, it'll be dangerous. Bark Mirror Emperor's voice was naturally sharp. He glanced at the others. I'm preparing to explore the Nine-Hell Ocean to find treasures. This Nine-Hell Ocean is the most dangerous place in the entire Nine-Hell dimension. Whether you guys want to follow, it's up to you. Nine-Hell Ocean? Bark Mirror Emperor. We're going to Nine-Hell Ocean? The other 5 Undyings were shocked. Bark Mirror King saw this and snickered. These 5 Undyings were all from the North Border Alliance. They were from the same faction as him, so he gave them some face and brought them along. But asking Mirror Monarch to find treasures for these 5 people was simply a pipe dream. He didn't have the time to do that. Bark Mirror Emperor, you're really going to Nine-Hell Ocean? Why don't we go to the other islands first? Bark Mirror Emperor glanced at the 5 and snorted coldly. Looking at Crow Sage, what about you? Even though he had a few companions here, the only one he cared about was Crow Sage. After all, he was a universe sage. His strength was similar to Bark Mirror Emperor's. Nine-Hell Ocean was a truly dangerous place. With a helper, it would be much safer. The other 5 couldn't be blamed for not daring to go. The entire Nine-Hell dimension was actually an endless ocean. There were thousands of islands in it. The inheritors mostly went there to explore and search for treasures. Very few dared to go deep into Nine-Hell Ocean, because it was extremely vast. The treasures it contained probably exceeded all the other islands combined, but the danger also exceeded all the other islands combined. The most dangerous place in Nine-Hell Ocean was the Nine-Hell Whirlpool. Within the ocean, there would occasionally be some whirlpools. Once one fell into the whirlpool and entered the core area of the Nine-Nether Sea, even a universe venerable's chances of survival were less than 1 in 100. Since King Bark Mirror wants to go to the Nine Underworld Sea, I'll follow you. But King Bark Mirror won't enter the Nine Underworld's whirlpool, right? Venerable Zia said worriedly. Of course not. Although I am confident, I will not blindly throw my life away. Bark Mirror Monarch shook his head. There are dangers everywhere in the Nine Underworld Sea. I would still dare to venture into other places, but if I were to see the Nine Underworld's whirlpool in the Nine Underworld Sea, I would definitely avoid it long ago. How would I dare to explore it? Venerable Crow heaved a sigh of relief and said, Then I will join forces with you to explore the Nine Underworld Sea. Ha ha ha! Bark Mirror Monarch immediately laughed. His voice was ear-piercing. Venerable Crown Crow also laughed. While the 2 of them were like this, the other 5 undying inheritors exchanged glances, secretly communicating with each other. What do we do? Venerable Crown Crow and Bark Mirror Monarch are going to the Nine Underworld Sea. What do we do? Without the 2 of them, if the 5 of us were to explore the other islands, we would most likely die. If we follow Venerable Crown Crow and Bark Mirror Monarch, who knows, we might be able to go to a more mystical place. Who knows, we might even be able to obtain some treasures. We are their teammates. They definitely won't dare to do anything to us. We have also been trapped in the extreme realm for countless years. This time, we are gambling with our lives. Let's risk it all. I will follow them. Go, me too. The legendary most dangerous Nine Underworld Sea. If we die in the Nine Underworld Sea, it will be worth it. The 5 undying inheritors quickly made their plans. Venerable Crown Crow, Bark Mirror Monarch, since the 2 of you are going, we will naturally follow as well. Right. The 5 of us are in the Nine Underworld space. Any place of danger will most likely die. Why not go with the 2 of you? We will all go. Bark Mirror Monarch and Venerable Crown Crow were naturally happy to accept. Everyone, let me first explore the surrounding 1 billion kilometers to see what dangers there are. Bark Mirror Monarch said. Bark Mirror Monarch, please. The other 6, including Venerable Crown Crow, moved aside. In terms of scouting methods, Bark Mirror Monarch was indeed unparalleled in the universe. Bark Mirror Monarch took a step forward, his eyes focused, following which the complicated engravings on his scales lit up. His pair of golden eyes produced a phantom gaze that seemed to be able to illuminate the endless void. Ahead, Bark Mirror Monarch looked ahead and said coldly and confidently, "There is no danger on the island. Once we leave the island, it will be the 9 underworlds ocean below. The danger within 32 million kilometers of the desolate rock island is negligible. The deeper you go, the more danger there will be. I have already discovered a universe paragon rank creature." Bark Mirror Monarch then turned to look in another direction. He said, "Look." In reality, it was his innate secret technique, Universe Mirror. Once it was activated, it could scan 1,000,000,000 km in a straight line. It was as if everything was reflected in a mirror, reflecting everything clearly. Any danger could be seen clearly. Unless one became a universe lord, they would be able to completely control a region of space. Otherwise, they would definitely not be able to avoid this universe mirror. Furthermore, once Bark Mirror Monarch scanned them, the other experts would not even notice. In this direction, I discovered an undying rank, unique life form. Bark Mirror Monarch looked around. When Bark Mirror Monarch looked to the right, he was slightly startled and then revealed a strange smile. "Bark Mirror Monarch, what did you discover?" Supremacy Z, you could not help but ask. Guess what I discovered?" Bark Mirror Monarch had a strange expression. Supremacy Z and the other 5 undying inheritors were confused. It's the famous Blade River King." Bark Mirror Monarch said. "Blade River King?" Supremacy Z and the 5 undying inheritors were shocked. "Interesting, I didn't expect this Blade River King to dare to come to the 9 underworlds dimension. I heard he has a pair of treasured wings that are good at escaping. I can't attack him on Circus Island, but this is a good chance." Bark Mirror Monarch stuck out his scarlet tongue and licked his lips, revealing his fangs. Bark Mirror Monarch. Supremacy Z was shocked. You don't dare. My North Border Alliance is not afraid of the Humanity Alliance." Bark Mirror Monarch sneered. "Supremacy Z, you don't have to interfere. You don't have to get involved in this mess. However, you have to behave yourself. Don't remind that Blade River King. Otherwise, you'll be making me your enemy." "Relax, I won't interfere." Supremacy Z nodded helplessly. The North Border Alliance was the alliance with the largest number of races in the universe. It was also one of the pinnacle powers, completely comparable to the human, demon, and bug races. "Let's go." Bark Mirror Monarch smiled and immediately flew into the distance. He didn't dare fly too fast, afraid of causing a commotion. If I can get that treasure wing, then this trip to the 9 underworld dimension would be worth it. I wouldn't even have to risk my life in the 9 underworlds ocean. Bark Mirror Monarch's golden eyes were filled with greed. He was a special life form. His nature was greedy and vicious. He didn't feel ashamed at all. Within the cave on the mountain peak, Luo Feng used the mini detector to hide his identity. He sat cross-legged here. He didn't even notice the scanning technique Bark Mirror Monarch used earlier. It was obvious that such a method had surpassed the detection limit of the miniature detector. There's still one more month. One more month, and I'll be able to get the World Tree Leaf and nurture my 3rd body before stepping into the undying level. Luo Feng was filled with anticipation as he waited. He didn't know that Bark Mirror Emperor and the other 6 warriors had already arrived outside the mountain peak. "Stop," Bark Mirror Emperor ordered. Supremacy Zia and the others all stopped in the distance. "That human has a mini detector," Bark Mirror Emperor smiled. "However, those bullshit detectors, even the pinnacle of the automaton race's detectors, can't compare to my natural talents." "Lock." Bark Mirror Emperor looked at the mountain peak before him and immediately activated the space lock. Immediately, half of the desolate rock island space ripples completely stopped. "Go in." So, Bark Mirror Emperor was the first to rush towards the mountain peak. So. The other 6 silhouettes followed. Not good. The moment he felt the space lock, Luo Feng's gaze swept across the rubble within the cave. Amongst the rubble, One of them was a disguise token. In another cave within the mountain peak, there was another token. This was used by the servants to teleport from their god countries. Even if I leave temporarily, I can teleport back in the future. So, Luo Feng's wings flapped, and he immediately rushed out of the cave. The moment he rushed out of the cave, Luo Feng felt a strong pressure bearing down on him. A slightly arched figure, similar to a werewolf. However, his entire body was covered in scales. The scales were filled with mysterious origin law engravings. His face had a golden mane and golden eyes. He broke through the air and stared hard at Luo Feng. Bark Mirror Emperor. Luo Feng was shocked. The most famous special life forms on Circe's Island were all not to be messed with. Bark Mirror Emperor, adept at tracking and killing. His nature was greedy and vicious. So, Luo Feng's wings flapped and his speed soared. Haha, Blade River Emperor, you still think you can escape from me? Haha, I, Bark Mirror Emperor, am famous for my tracking skills. I'm extremely talented in space, and I'm naturally fast. My body also far surpasses yours. Let's see who's faster, you or me. Bark Mirror Emperor's speed soared as he chased after Luo Feng. Bark Mirror Emperor's body was extremely powerful. His life force was 2,000 times that of a normal warrior. The limit of an emperor was 100,000 sector lord strength. Bark Mirror Emperor had 200 million sector lord strength, allowing him to completely match a universe knight. The strength of his body along with his speed. So. Bark Mirror Emperor's speed continued to rise. Luo Feng's speed too rose. What? Luo Feng was shocked to find that ever since he had the Killer Wu wings, this was the first time he wasn't able to pull away. And Bark Mirror Emperor was still closing in. Second form. Luo Feng had to admit that he had underestimated this Bark Mirror Emperor. He couldn't care less about anything else and immediately activated the Wu Killer Wings. The feathers on the wings were all like slender blades, the rows of blades lined up neatly. Hua hua. It immediately tore through the surrounding space, forming a space vortex. Within the space vortex, Luo Feng's silhouette was blurry. P.S. First chapter has arrived. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 998. Today was the second time. Even Bark Mirror Emperor, who was chasing from behind, was caught in the space turbulence. This space turbulence was filled with all sorts of space shards. Every shard was no weaker than a planet crashing into it. This caused Bark Mirror Emperor to charge about within the space turbulence, smashing through countless shards. However, his speed was greatly reduced, and he had no way to chase Luo Feng. Bark Mirror Emperor wasn't angry. Instead, he was happy. He communicated, "The power of the treasure is indeed extraordinary. However, such a treasure, you as a human have no right to possess it. I am a powerful life form of the universe. Only I am worthy of such a treasure. Hand it over, and I'll spare your life." Rumble. Bark Mirror Emperor's energy rose fiercely. He had already ignited his body. For the treasure, he wasn't stingy with it, and the Northern Border Alliance had provided him with endless resources to absorb him. He had many treasures to recover his body. Rumble. With a body that surpassed a normal knight's. The moment he ignited his body, Bark Mirror Emperor's strength immediately rose to a heavenly level. Rumble. Bark Mirror Emperor's speed immediately rose again. He immediately smashed a wide path through the space turbulence. All the shards of space that obstructed him were shattered into particles. Luo Feng, who was already giving it his all, realized that Bark Mirror Emperor's speed had risen and was swiftly catching up. My speed can't compare to his. Luo Feng saw that the situation wasn't good. He immediately flapped his wings. Shua, 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 shua. Luo Feng was like a butterfly, constantly changing directions within the space turbulence. Sometimes he would rush forward, sometimes he would fly left, even fiercely turning. His direction was constantly changing like a demon. One had to know that the faster one went, the harder it was to change directions. Just like a speeding sports car, suddenly changing directions could very well flip. Same logic, Bark Mirror Emperor was caught off guard. So agile. Bark Mirror Emperor 2 constantly changed directions to chase after Luo Feng. In terms of straight-line speed, even if Luo Feng unleashed the second form of the Killer Wu wings and formed the space turbulence, he still couldn't beat the Burning Body Special Life form Bark Mirror Emperor. However, the moment he changed directions, Bark Mirror Emperor panicked a little. Seal. Bark Mirror Emperor raged. He immediately used his god energy to suppress Luo Feng. However, Luo Feng's Killer Wu wings immediately tore it apart. Bark Mirror Emperor, why are you chasing me? Luo Feng communicated. My treasured wings were bestowed by the Universe Lord. Even if you snatch it away, I'm afraid in the future someone will snatch it back. Haha, don't use the Master of the Universe to pressure me. Your human alliance has a Master of the Universe, but does the Northern Border Alliance not have one? Haha, a treasure is indeed a treasure. My foundation has surpassed you by so much, and my acceleration has surpassed yours, but my agility is far inferior to yours. I can only rely on my speed to catch up to you again and again, so that you can't shake me off. Bark Mirror Monarch was very excited. Venerable Crow and the other 5 immortal inheritors watched as Bark Mirror King chased after Blade River King. They had already rushed out of the desolate rock island and were flying above the 9 underworlds ocean. Bark Mirror Monarch can't catch up even after burning his divine body? As expected of a supreme treasure. Burning the divine body can greatly increase the speed, but the faster the speed, the harder it is to change directions, Venerable Crow said. Barking Mirror King can only guarantee that he won't be shaken off. I guess it's time to act. Bark Mirror King couldn't catch up. Finally, a purple crystal ball appeared in front of him. So, this purple crystal ball, under the control of Bark Mirror Emperor's divine energy, its speed naturally far exceeded Bark Mirror Emperor's. It immediately reached the sky above Luo Feng, and the purple crystal ball's size expanded fiercely. From the palm size before, it had already become a huge star with a diameter of 1,000 kilometers. At the bottom of the star was a huge hole. Rumble, a whirlpool appeared within the hole, and a huge swallowing energy affected Luo Feng's body. Luo Feng, who was originally incredibly agile and constantly changing directions in mid-air, was immediately affected. This is my sealing treasure. Although I don't understand the complete space law, with this treasure and my burning divine power, I'm afraid it's even stronger than the sealing methods of universe supremacies. I don't believe that you can break free. Bark Mirror Monarch laughed out loud as he transmitted his voice. Luo Feng was caught in the endless swallowing energy, and his movements were a little messy. When using sealing treasures, one would first heavily injure the enemy, and when the enemy's resistance is extremely weak, one would then suppress and seal them. You actually think you can just seal me? Dream on. Luo Feng raged within. Killer Wu Feather, break it. Immediately, the edges of the Killer Wu Feather had many sharp blades slicing through the space, destroying everything. There were many treasures. The sealing treasures were strong in suppressing and sealing, and their attacks were usually very weak. To directly swallow a strong warrior, unless the difference in strength between the two was too huge, it was impossible. Luo Feng believed with the Wu Killer Wings on him, if Bark Mirror Emperor used a long-range attack, he definitely wouldn't be able to block it. However, just relying on the swallowing power of the sealing treasure to suck him in, that was too arrogant. Chi. Luo Feng was within the endless swallowing energy, the Wu Killer Wings slicing and shattering, finally allowing him to rush out of the swallowing area. This scene made the laughing Bark Mirror Emperor stunned, after which he sneered, "The treasure is indeed extraordinary. Blade River Emperor, I originally didn't want to kill you, but now, don't blame me." Bark Mirror Emperor suddenly opened his mouth. Silence. The entire land and skies went silent. Bark Mirror Emperor's mouth was opened extremely wide. In the distance, Z and Knight and the other 5 were shocked as they saw this. With Bark Mirror Emperor's roar, that Blade River Emperor is probably going to die. Blade River Emperor has a natural talent to create clones. No matter what, this clone is probably going to die, and his treasures are going to fall into Bark Mirror Emperor's hands. The five Undyings communicated within. Z and Knight thought so too. Because Bark Mirror Emperor's two natural talents were definitely unparalleled in the universe. One scanning and the other attacking. Scanning, one could see through everything. Attacking, one could destroy the soul. Luo Feng felt a formless attack descend upon him the moment Bark Mirror Emperor opened his mouth. Howl! An incomparably terrifying soul roared. Even with Luo Feng's willpower, his consciousness instantly went blank. This soul roar seemed like it was about to destroy Luo Feng's soul, and the pagoda pearl within the core of his soul immediately appeared, glowing brightly and enveloping his soul. Roars resounded. Even before Luo Feng's soul, Bark Mirror Emperor's had appeared. It opened its huge mouth and roared at Luo Feng's soul. Wong, wong, wong. The pagoda pearl too was slightly trembling. Luo Feng's soul was trembling. His spirit energy at the edge was completely destroyed, leaving only the core of his soul protected by the pagoda pearl, resisting with all his might. Howl! The roars resounded. Wong, the pagoda pearl did its best to suppress and protect him. What a terrifying technique. Luo Feng's consciousness went blank, following which he regained consciousness, feeling shocked within his body. Before the pagoda pearl appeared, just the moment the attack descended, my consciousness was already blank. Obviously, I had no way to resist at all. If it wasn't for the pagoda pearl, I would definitely have been crushed into nothing. And even with the pagoda pearl appearing, it was still very taxing. Luo Feng was shocked. The stronger the special life form, the more heaven-defying their natural abilities were. Like Silver Eye, they were still considered normal. Like Bark Mirror Emperor and Bug Emperor, their natural abilities were even more unbelievable. Flee. The moment Luo Feng awoke, he knew he couldn't escape no matter how he flew. Gritting his teeth, he rushed down towards the 9 Underworld Ocean. The 9 Underworld Ocean was the most vast and most dangerous place in the entire space, especially the 9 Underworld Whirlpool. However, at this time, Luo Feng couldn't care less. Pung! The water exploded. Luo Feng had already rushed into the 9 Underworld Ocean. Impossible. The Bark Mirror Monarch's eyes were filled with shock. He couldn't believe that the Blade River Monarch was able to resist the attack that he was so proud of. His expression immediately turned sinister as he roared and charged into the sea of 9 underworlds. In the air above the ocean, Zia Knight and the other 5 watched from above. They were all shocked. He blocked it. He actually didn't die. The 6 of them couldn't believe it. Zia Knight shook his head. Bark Mirror Emperor's body is incomparably strong, able to fight against a Universe Knight. Right now burning his god energy to unleash his natural ability. This move's power is definitely comparable to a normal attack from a Universe Tyrant. With this level of power, how could that human Blade River Emperor block it? Zia Knight, Bark Mirror Emperor has the strength of a Universe Knight, burning his god energy to unleash his natural ability attack. How could he possibly block it? Don't tell me he has another treasure, one that protects the soul? A treasure that protects the soul. The other inheritors were shocked. Right, a treasure. Zia Knight nodded. He's a human. He has a soul. He definitely suffered that attack. With his own strength, he couldn't block it. It has to be a treasure. A treasure that protects the soul. That Bug Emperor even has 2 treasures. The human values the Blade River Emperor so much. It's possible he has 2 treasures. It's actually 2 treasures. The other 5 inheritors couldn't believe it. Too crazy. Zia Knight couldn't help but feel greedy. He was a Universe Knight, yet he didn't have a single treasure. And Bark Mirror Emperor and Bug Emperor both had treasures on them. Even this Blade River Emperor actually had 2 treasures on him. If I'm lucky enough to get it, I'll just hide. These are 2 treasures. One is a pair of wings for escaping, and the other is to protect my soul. Venerable Crow's eyes flashed with an ominous glint, and he immediately rushed towards the sea below. The cold ocean, The water was filled with a heart-palpitating energy. Hong long long. The Bark Mirror King chased frantically within the seawater, constantly maintaining the spatial seal. At the same time, it roared, "Human, you can't escape. You are actually able to block my innate secret technique attack. You must have a treasure that protects your soul. You must have one. It's all mine, it's all mine." Bark Mirror Emperor was completely mad. Soul-protecting treasures were even rarer and more valuable than flying treasures. So, Luo Feng, however, was constantly changing directions in the endless 9 underworld ocean, heading deeper and deeper. Wherever there was danger, he would head there. 2 chapters finished. There was still one last day of October. On this last day, everyone see if you still have any monthly votes. Those that have expired, just vote for Tomato. Tomato love votes. Throw them all at me. To be continued. If you like this work, please come Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 999. In the depths of the 9 underworld ocean, every drop of water was as heavy as a mountain. However, whether it was Luo Feng or Bark Mirror Emperor, they were both using their fastest speeds, one fleeing and the other chasing. Blade River Emperor, you can't escape. Bark Mirror Emperor roared excitedly. Haha, your escaping ability is impressive. Your ability to defend against soul attacks is impressive. I don't believe you can block my powerful material attacks. Unless you have a flying palace-type treasure, die. Rumble. Bark Mirror Emperor waved his claws fiercely, and a terrifying gray god energy shot straight at the distant Luo Feng, who was constantly changing directions. Not good. Luo Feng was shocked. Even though Bark Mirror Emperor walked the path of a fighter, releasing his god energy to attack was a very simple method. It was just that these methods were usually weaker. However, Bark Mirror Emperor's god energy was already heavenly. Now that he was burning his god energy, even with such a weak method, the moment that extremely condensed god energy hit him, he would be done for. There were many types of treasures. For instance, the Heavenly Wolf Palace and the Star Tower were both considered as flying palaces. And the Calamity Armor was a protective armor. To truly escape, treasures like Sky Wolf Palace were much more useful, as long as Luo Feng hid within it. Even if the enemy attacked the palace, they wouldn't be able to hurt him. It's a pity I don't have such a treasure. Luo Feng maintained high speed, changing directions. Every time the wings shook, it would cause a huge space turbulence. Rumble. The god energy beam pierced through the endless ocean and the space turbulence, whistling past Luo Feng's left. I dodged it. Luo Feng let out a sigh of relief. He had been maintaining high speed, changing directions. Just like a bullet on Earth, as long as he kept changing directions, it was hard to hit. Ha, you dodged once. Let's see how many more you can dodge. Bark Mirror Emperor laughed proudly. You really don't have a flying palace-type treasure. Ha ha, Blade River Emperor, you rely on your wings to escape. You rely on your soul attacks to defend against soul attacks. However, you don't have any specialized treasures to defend against material attacks. What a pity, you're dead for sure. Rumble, rumble. 2 god energy beams shot straight at Luo Feng. It did not contain any comprehension of the loss. It relied on the divine power of a powerful universe venerable, and it was in a combusting state. My speed can't catch up to you, but my divine power can't catch up to you? Bark Mirror Emperor's eyes were filled with madness. His strength far exceeded Luo Feng's. It was like chasing an ant. This ant was extremely agile and had a soul treasure. However, as long as he relied on his god energy to crush him, unless he had a supreme treasure like the Heavenly Wolf Hall, he would definitely die. Do I have to call the Masha clan's clone back? Luo Feng changed directions irregularly. A beam of god energy was dodged, and another beam of god energy brushed past the edges of his wings, causing his entire body to fiercely turn and change directions to escape. The Wu killer wings were pushed to their limits. Even though the Masha clansman has the natural ability domain, it can only move itself anywhere within the domain. It's unable to bring other life forms. Luo Feng thought. This was the limitation of a domain. Domain and teleportation were two completely different methods. Teleportation could bring other life forms along, entering the ripples of space and instantly teleporting far away. Domain was when the Masha clansman first completely transformed into a 10,000 kilometers diameter space, merging with the original space, following which the space would return to the Masha clansman. The Masha clansman could transform into space. However, Luo Feng's main body couldn't, unless his main body entered the world ring and the Masha clansman carried it into his body. Only then would it work. However, with Bark Mirror Emperor's god energy, how would he give his main body the chance to enter the world ring? He escaped again? Bark Mirror Emperor laughed oddly and communicated. You actually dodged twice. Ha! That treasure pair of wings makes your escaping ability very strong. I want to see you dodge like this for the third time. Bark Mirror Emperor's eyes revealed a sense of madness. At the same time, a surge of god energy began to gather. God energy was only powerful when it was gathered. If it was spread over 100 million km, the scattered God energy would be very weak. It could only be used for scouting, etc. It couldn't be used to attack. The God energy's most condensed form was the God body. God energy threads. Prison. Bark Mirror Emperor fiercely extended his claws. Immediately, thousands of God energy threads, incomparably sturdy threads, shot through the sky and chased after Luo Feng. Every thread was at its most condensed state, comparable to Bark Mirror Emperor's god body. Just this simple move used up 10% of Bark Mirror Emperor's god body. From the start of the battle till now, the other moves only used up 1% of his god energy. However, this move used up 10%. Firstly, it used up a high amount of god energy. It was at its most condensed state. Secondly, it used up a large amount, thousands of God energy threads. You have nowhere to run. Bark Mirror Emperor's eyes were filled with greed. 2 treasures. If he had these 2 treasures to protect his life, even against a universe tyrant, he would have a chance of escaping. Rumble. Suddenly, a huge whirlpool appeared in the Nine Abyss Ocean. The whirlpool reached into the sky. The pulling force was extremely strong. Within the whirlpool, there was a towering blood-red silhouette. It had an incomparably tall and sturdy body, with 2 curved blood-colored horns. It let out a low roar. The roar resounded within Bark Mirror Emperor's mind. Outsider, you dare wreak havoc in my Nine Abyss Ocean, die. Rumble. What? Bark Mirror Emperor turned to look, shocked. Nine Abyss Whirlpool. A warrior from the Nine Abyss Whirlpool? He had only heard that the Nine Abyss Ocean was filled with danger, and the most dangerous was the Nine Abyss Whirlpool. However, he never expected that this whirlpool would appear out of nowhere and that a universe knight would appear from within. Especially from the strength of his energy, it definitely had the ability to suppress Bark Mirror Emperor. Rumble. The burning bloodlight immediately enveloped Bark Mirror Emperor. Scram. Bark Mirror Emperor fiercely controlled his god energy threads. Killing Luo Feng was much easier. The Nine Abyss Whirlpool warrior before him was the true enemy. The thousands of god energy threads that took up 10% of his body immediately formed a long spear and pierced towards the glaring, burning bloodlight. Rumble. The 2 clashed, the ocean water exploded, the undercurrents surged, the 2 were actually evenly matched. Some strength. The Universe Knight was shocked. Die. Bark Mirror Emperor followed closely and opened his mouth, unleashing his natural ability. Silence. The surrounding ocean water was silent. Without a sound, it directly struck the Nine Abyss Whirlpool warrior. Ha! Soul attacks are useless against my race. The blood-colored horn tall and sturdy silhouette roared and rushed over. You can't do anything to me. However, Bark Mirror Monarch was not afraid. In that instant exchange, just now, he understood that he was slightly weaker than the expert in the 9 Underworld Whirlpool. This was because the thousands of threads that formed the long spear took up 10% of his divine body. The opponent's attack probably only consumed 1% to 2% of his divine body. The 2 were evenly matched, and now the soul attack was ineffective. No wonder it said that after entering the Nine Abyss whirlpool and entering the core of the Nine Abyss ocean, not even 1 out of 100 universe knights survive. Just randomly popping out, and he's this strong. Ignore him. Even though my strength isn't as strong as his, my escape techniques are stronger than his. Bark Mirror Emperor turned and chased Luo Feng. The Bloodhorn tall and sturdy silhouette chased after Bark Mirror Emperor. So, the two chased one after the other. Bark Mirror Emperor was adept at chasing and chasing. His speed was extremely fast. Luo Feng's second form couldn't even match up to him in a straight line. The Bloodhorn tall and sturdy silhouette's speed, too, couldn't match Bark Mirror Emperor. I'll kill you, Blade River Emperor, and leave immediately. Bark Mirror Emperor chased after Luo Feng and waved his claw. Immediately, large amounts of God energy threads began to gather. Risk all. Luo Feng couldn't care less about anything else. Gritting his teeth, he flapped his wings and rushed towards the Nine Abyss whirlpool. Luo Feng really had no choice. His luck before was good. At the crucial moment, the Bloodhorn silhouette appeared, allowing Bark Mirror Emperor to control his God energy threads to deal with the one with the greatest threat. However, this time, Bark Mirror Emperor knew he wasn't a match for the one behind. Hence, he focused on killing Luo Feng. Rumble, the Nine Abyss whirlpool's tearing strength was shocking. Its swallowing power was shocking too. Luo Feng rushed in and was swallowed deep within. No! Just as Bark Mirror Emperor gathered his God energy threads, he saw Blade River Emperor rush into the Nine Abyss whirlpool and immediately raged. He was very strong. However, he didn't dare charge into the Nine Abyss whirlpool. Luo Feng was forced into a corner. That was why he tried to survive. However, Bark Mirror Emperor had the ability to escape. Why would he charge into the Nine Abyss whirlpool? What a waste of two treasures, my two treasures. Bark Mirror Emperor raged within and immediately rushed into the sky. Rumble. Very quickly, Bark Mirror Emperor broke through the water and rushed into the sky. Outsider. Within the churning waves, the Bloodhorn silhouette stepped on the waves and looked up at the sky. Seeing Bark Mirror Emperor teleport and vanish, he grinned. At least you escaped quickly. Following closely, the Bloodhorn silhouette returned to the deep ocean. After a while, he arrived at the Nine Abyss whirlpool. This Bloodhorn silhouette immediately entered the Nine Abyss whirlpool and vanished. In the ocean, Crow Knight only then appeared. Secretly watching this scene, his eyes filled with shock, it said that the Nine Abyss whirlpool leads to the core of the Nine Abyss ocean. Looks like there should be a group of terrifying warriors living there. Just one of them is stronger than me, and they seem to be a race that doesn't fear soul attacks. It's a pity that the human Blade River Emperor entered the Nine Abyss whirlpool too. He's dead, and the treasures are probably lost in the core area. However, at least they didn't fall into Bark Mirror Emperor's hands. Traces of coldness flashed in Venerable Crow's eyes as he looked at the Nine Nether Vortex in the distance. Although the Nine Nether Vortex had appeared out of thin air, it still existed and would probably last for a long time. Moreover, the endless void in the depths of the Nine Nether Vortex had an inexplicable attraction that made Venerable Crow want to enter. How terrifying! Crow Knight was immediately shocked, looking fearfully at the Nine Abyss whirlpool, a method to create a teleportation pathway out of thin air, and it's not even a God country teleportation. This is simply, no wonder it's the most dangerous place in the Nine Abyss space. Immediately, he moved and vanished. P.S. Monday, requesting recommendation votes. Recommendation votes. Recommendation votes. Recommendation votes. All brothers with recommendation votes. Please vote for Tomato. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1000. The moment Luo Feng entered the Nine Whirlpool, he felt the sky-shattering energy. Like a millstone crushing a bean, his entire body's bones and tendons made cracking sounds. His face contorted. Just this force alone is enough to destroy me. Luo Feng was shocked. Ceiling star. Luo Feng couldn't care about anything else. Immediately a ceiling star appeared, and he entered it. So, the ceiling star was a ceiling-type treasure that contained a space within it. As long as one hid within the ceiling star, the attacks from the outside would be blocked by the ceiling star to the point where only 1,000th or even a 10,000th of the power of the attack would remain. However, there was a huge weakness to hiding within the ceiling star. The enemy could directly grab the ceiling star and take it away. Furthermore, flying and dodging within the ceiling star would be much more difficult. This was also the main reason why Luo Feng didn't hide within the ceiling star when he was being chased earlier. Within the ceiling star was a beautiful world. In the sky, there were beams of gold light streaking across the sky. The vast land was incredibly thick. Luo Feng stood within, his consciousness fusing with the ceiling star, splitting his spirit energy to scan the outside world. It's a little like the space whirlpool in the mysterious land, Luo Feng thought. Earlier, due to the space whirlpool, he was fortunate enough to receive the transmission of the space heart, allowing the Masha clansmen to have a huge opportunity. I've arrived. Luo Feng swiftly felt his surroundings stabilize. Using his spirit energy to scan the outside world, Luo Feng was shocked. He could clearly feel that within a 100 kilometers radius, there was a foreign race army. All of them were blood-red tall and sturdy, with blood-colored curve horns. It was obvious they were from the same race as the foreign race knight that chased after Bark Mirror Emperor. Treasure? What treasure is this? Seeing the star that appeared out of nowhere, the few alien warriors who were closest to the whirlpool all flew over. But soon, they felt a wave of mental power sweeping over. Outsiders. It's an outsider. The few non-humankind warriors immediately roared out. So, the stars suddenly disappeared, and a silver-armored, silver-winged man appeared out of thin air. I won't be accompanying you. Luo Feng's gaze swept. There were a total of 300 of them stationed here, all of them undying. The leader's aura was incredibly strong. He was probably an emperor-level invincible. Any random team that's stationed here is already so strong. According to my knowledge, there are many Nine-Hell vortexes in the Nine-Hell Sea, and I'm afraid there are many teleportation formations that are stationed here. Luo Feng's heart went cold. Even a human race wouldn't be so extravagant as to have 300 undying warriors guard a place. Whoosh! Luo Feng was shocked, but his movements were fast. With a flap of his wings, he broke through the sky. An outsider. Quick chase. Many non-humankind soldiers were excited, as if they were hunters who had seen their prey. The leader of the team roared, Team 1, Team 2, follow me. The third team will continue to stand guard. Roar, roar. Immediately, many blood-colored silhouettes flew through the air, all of them howling excitedly. About 200 silhouettes chased after Luo Feng. As Luo Feng fled, he swiftly felt the difference between this world and the outside world. What a strong resistance. Luo Feng looked up at the sky. This was a land that was different from the other regions of the Nine-Hell space. In the sky, there were actually resplendent stars, and in the air, there were visible threads of mist like blood energy currents, causing the entire world to be filled with a special energy. This energy caused the space ripples in this land to completely stop and also suppressed all God Country teleportation. I can't teleport. I can't teleport from God Country. Luo Feng understood why even the universe knights and foreign races use the wormhole like Nine-Hell whirlpools to leave and not teleport or God Country teleportation. Roar, haha, outsider, this is my race's land. You outsiders are greatly suppressed here. While we are fine, you can't escape. Voices transmitted through the God energy, exploding in Luo Feng's ears. Luo Feng turned to look. The many blood-colored silhouettes were swiftly chasing after him. Luo Feng could feel that even though the blood-colored mist had sealed the space ripples, these foreign race beings were like fish in water when they flew. It was extremely easy. Just you undyings want to chase me. Luo Feng's Wu killer wings immediately created a space turbulence. Simultaneously, his speed rose rapidly. The group of foreign race warriors could only watch as Luo Feng got further and further away, quickly becoming a silver and disappearing from their vision. This made them all look at each other, dumbfounded. How can he be so fast? This outsider only has one undying. How can he be faster than us in our world? The foreign race warriors were caught off guard. Over the long years, they had long accumulated experience in dealing with outsiders. If it was an undying level outsider, the moment he entered their home world, he would be suppressed and his speed would decrease, allowing them to easily catch up to him. And if it was a universe supremacy level foreign race, they would immediately report it and let the universe supremacies within their race take action. Damn! The largest blood-colored horned silhouette roared. Even an undying managed to escape. Captain, what do we do? What do we do now? The other warriors looked at the captain. The tall, blood-horned silhouette roared. Report. If we don't, do you want to die? In the vast land and skies, stars hung in the sky, and there was a blood-colored energy flow. In this land and skies, there are mountain ranges, rivers, flowers, and grass. What a huge world. I've already fled 10 billion kilometers, and I still haven't found any signs of the other races. Luo Feng sat crossed-legged in the grass. The lush grass completely covered him. From this, it can be seen that the numbers of these foreign races are very small. However, their strength is extremely strong. I can't teleport from the God Country. Luo Feng thought. Meaning, if I can't escape, I can only be like prey, hunted down and killed by these foreign races. According to legend, this is the core area of the 9 underworld ocean. Looking at the universe coordinates, this is still within the 9 underworld space. Luo Feng checked the coordinates and discovered the land and skies here belong to the bottom of the 9 underworld ocean. Even though I can't teleport, the Masha clansman's natural ability, domain, still has a way to enter. Luo Feng thought. As long as he wasn't being chased, it was still very easy for the Masha clansman to enter. I'll wait first. The Masha clansman has already floated for so long. There's still a month before the final mission. I can't let it go to waste. And even if the Masha clansman enters, he doesn't have a 100% chance of escaping again. I'll contact my teacher first. Luo Feng thought for a while, feeling that the situation had already developed beyond his control, and the World Tree Leaf was something he had to get. Just as Luo Feng was communicating with the primal Chaos City leader through the virtual universe, in the core of the 9 underworld space, within a large ancient city, there is also a virtual world constructed here, allowing the Aboriginals to communicate easily through the virtual world. Outsider. Even an undying outsider, we actually couldn't catch him. A black armored blood-horned giant roared. Children, follow me. Yes, General. In one of the luxurious mansions in the ancient city, the black-armored, crimson-horned giant led an elite squad of 10 warriors and directly soared into the sky. Mama Tua, a voice suddenly resounded within the universe knight's mind. Breaking through the skies, the blood-horned giant's body trembled and stopped. The other outsider warriors behind him too stopped. General? The warrior asked curiously. It's the prince. The blood-horned giant said solemnly. Prince? The 10 captain-level elite warriors were all shocked, after which they couldn't help but bow. Even the universe knight bowed. In the distance, within the most majestic palace of the ancient city, 10 silhouettes broke through the skies and flew over. 3 of them had extremely powerful auras. The 10 silhouettes quickly arrived. Your Majesty. The universe knight bowed to show respect. Your Majesty. The 10 warriors immediately knelt down. These 10 silhouettes. The leader had a handsome face. His white face had blood-colored engravings. He wore a beautiful gold and blood-colored battle armor. The armor radiated a powerful ripple. This was the ripple of an ultimate treasure. Without a doubt, he was the prince. The prince's aura was incredibly powerful, but his appearance was different from the rest of his race. Whether it was the universe knight from before, or the 2 universe knights and the group of undyings behind the prince, their skin was blood-colored, and they had blood-colored horns. Judging from appearance, the prince and the other generals and soldiers, They looked like two different races. General Mama to all. I've just received news that a small team under your command has discovered a foreign race. And this outsider is only an undying, yet he managed to escape from your team? The prince's voice was elegant. Yes, your majesty, the horned giant said respectfully. Interesting, an undying is actually this powerful. I heard that amongst the countless inheritors of the ancestral god sect, some undyings are extremely powerful. The prince's voice was elegant. I'm also an undying. I wonder who's stronger, me or him. Your majesty's might is limitless. How can that outsider be your opponent? The horned giant said. Don't underestimate the outsider. The prince said, let's go lead the way. It's usually boring. Hunting this undying outsider is quite interesting. The horned giant was stunned. Afraid that I'll be in danger? The prince asked. I don't dare. The horned giant said, I have 108 brothers. None of them have fallen. What danger would there be? The prince said confidently, let's go. Yes. The horned giant could only accept. So, immediately, 10 silhouettes surrounded the prince and went to hunt the undying outsider. P.S. 2 chapters completed. The difference between the recommendation votes and the first place was so huge. Tomato was speechless and teared up. Brothers, everyone has recommendation votes. Even if we fall behind, we can't fall behind like this. I'll have to trouble everyone to vote for me. Tomato needs everyone's recommendation votes. To be continued. If you like this work, please come Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1001. At the highest point of the virtual universe Thunder Island, outside the palace amidst the endless energy currents, Luo Feng appeared. Things are out of my control. Luo Feng stood outside the palace, frowning as he pondered. If I don't manage to escape from that land and get killed, my treasures will be taken away. Then when that time comes to get them back, it'll be hard. Luo Feng. A voice resounded. Luo Feng was shocked, turning fiercely. Outside the palace, near the cliff, stood a golden-robed silhouette. It was the primal Chaos City leader. He was gazing down at Thunder Island. Teacher. Luo Feng walked over and bowed respectfully. You came to see me, yet you're hesitating outside? What's the matter? The primal Chaos City leader turned and glanced at Luo Feng, smiling. You told me before that you wanted to go to the 9 underworld space to search for the world tree's leaves, to nurture your third body. Don't tell me. There's been a change. Luo Feng said respectfully, the world tree's leaves. Your disciple is following the plan. I believe there's hope for it. Only my earth body has met with some trouble. HM? The primal Chaos City leader looked at Luo Feng. My earth body is hiding in the 9 underworld space's safest desolate rock island. I didn't expect another batch of inheritors from the ancestral god sect to arrive there too, and amongst them was Barking Mirror Emperor. That Barking Mirror Emperor was famous for his tracking skills. Naturally, he found me. And he was jealous of my treasures, hence he made a move on me. Luo Feng said. Barking Mirror Emperor? The primal Chaos City leader was shocked. If he made a move, how did you escape? Or did the treasures already fall into his hands? No. Luo Feng shook his head. Your disciple escaped. You escaped? The primal Chaos City leader was curious. Even though he's undying, he has the strength of a universe knight, especially his natural abilities and attacks. Your disciple still has another treasure, specially made to protect the soul. Luo Feng said. Treasure? The primal Chaos City leader couldn't help but be shocked. According to Luo Feng's battle scenes before, he deduced that Luo Feng's spirit weapon should be a treasure. He didn't expect there to be a third treasure, and one that protects the soul. This made the primal Chaos City leader unable to help but ask, Luo Feng, just how many treasures do you have? Luo Feng was embarrassed. 3. Wu Killer Wing's spirit weapon, soul protection treasure, just 3. Just 3? And it's only 3. Back then, when I was a world overlord, I only had a single treasure on me. The city lord couldn't help but say, seems like your good fortune is truly not small. Luo Feng's heart was filled with nervousness. If his teacher asked him where he obtained the other two treasures, what should he say? Even if you have a treasure to protect your soul, with his universe realm strength, he won't let you escape. The primal chaos city master asked. Luo Feng let out a sigh of relief within. His teacher didn't ask about the origins of these two treasures, otherwise he would have to make up a lie. After all, the Star Pagoda was his greatest secret. Treasures like the Star Pagoda and the Killer Wu Wings, many universe lords didn't even bother with them and only gave them to the strong warriors of their own races. Treasures like the Celestial Wolf Palace were enough to make even the masters of the universe go green with envy. A supreme treasure like the Thousand Treasures River was enough to make even the masters of the universe go crazy. As for the highest grade Star Pagoda, that was enough to make countless races go crazy over it. The strongest experts in the cosmos would risk their lives to obtain it. Similarly, the five-color Extreme Light Lake was the ultimate treasure of the number one power in the universe. It protected the foundations of their headquarters. Luo Feng was very clear. The secret of the Star Pagoda, before he could fully control it, he definitely couldn't reveal it. Otherwise, no matter how strong his background was, he wouldn't be able to stop the madness of the strong. Theoretically speaking, I indeed had no way to escape. However, because he was chasing me, I was in the 9 underworld space. Luo Feng said, during the moment of danger, I discovered the 9 underworld whirlpool. I was thinking if the treasure landed in the hands of that Bark Mirror Emperor, it would be very hard to retrieve it. Even though the 9 underworld whirlpool was infamous, at least I didn't die immediately. Hence, I made up my mind and rushed into it. The 9 underworld whirlpool is similar to a wormhole. This disciple has arrived in a world. Luo Feng said respectfully, there's a group of special life forms living there. They're all tall and sturdy. Their bodies are blood red, with blood red horns. The place I'm at right now, coincidentally, has a few hundred undyings guarding it. I was lucky enough to escape. However, I reckon there will be even stronger warriors chasing after me, and I can't teleport from my god country. I can only wait to be hunted. I can only try my best to delay for time. After all, that place is huge. The Primal Chaos City leader listened and nodded. You did right. That Bark Mirror Emperor is from the Northern Border Alliance. They have always been arrogant. Once the treasure lands in their hands, they won't be able to retrieve it, the Primal Chaos City leader said. Luo Feng was so shocked he broke out in cold sweat. The pearl was extremely important. Even though Bark Mirror Emperor might not recognize it even if he obtained it, the pearl would be infused into the soul of the Star Pagoda. Naturally, it couldn't be lost. What should I do now? Luo Feng looked at the Primal Chaos City leader. Ha ha ha, now you know to come and beg. The Primal Chaos City leader smiled. The ancestral god's secret region. I've never been there before. I know very little about it. However, the most terrifying beings in the secret region, the absolute beings that roam the universe, I know a few of them. Let me ask you, where are the coordinates of that place? The Primal Chaos City leader asked. It's right below the 9 underworld ocean. Luo Feng said. The Primal Chaos City leader nodded. My guess isn't wrong. Right now you are in that world. Even I can only vaguely feel the item I left with you. And it's obvious it's interfered with by that world. To be able to do that, even in the entire universe, there are only so many. Luo Feng was immediately shocked. This was a life-saving item his teacher gave him. It was something he could use to ask for help at a critical moment. I've never been to the 9 underworld space. However, I know the true ruler of the 9 underworld space is called a 9 underworld leader. The Primal Chaos City leader said, and the world you are in is the 9 underworld leader's nest. 9 underworld leader? Luo Feng blinked. That's a universe lord. The Primal Chaos City leader said, of course, don't compare him to the Sky Wolf leader and the other beings. This 9 underworld leader, in terms of power, isn't any weaker than me. Luo Feng was shocked within as he heard. No weaker than his teacher? The Primal Chaos City leader had 3 great bodies. They were all incredibly powerful. The 9 underworld leader was actually comparable to his teacher. This 9 underworld leader roams the universe. He's invincible. The primal chaos city leader said. Even the ancestral god sect treats him with respect. The 3 ancestral gods also have good relations with the 9 underworld leader. There are many things that they can't easily deal with, and the beast gods can't deal with them. Hence, they usually ask for the 9 underworld leader's help. Luo Feng, listen carefully. The 9 underworld leader is extremely powerful, especially in the 9 underworld space. The primal chaos city leader said that 9 underworld space is his territory. In the 9 underworld space, the 9 underworld leader is invincible. No one in the universe can deal with him. The primal chaos city leader said. Luo Feng blinked. There was no need for his teacher to lie to him. That's right. It was said that the primal chaos city leader was invincible in the primal universe. This 9 underworld leader was actually invincible in the 9 underworld space too. In the 9 underworld space, he can unleash his greatest power. The primal chaos city leader exclaimed, whether it's the strongest world tree you know of or other universe lord level beings, as long as they are in the 9 underworld space, they are all subordinates of the 9 underworld leader. Hence, the other absolute beings in the universe don't wish to go there. In the 9 underworld space, it's very easy to lose out. The primal chaos city leader said, I too don't wish to go there. Only a few Undyings and Universe Knights would go there to explore and acquire some treasures. As for the true Universe Lords, how many would dare to go there? That 9 underworld leader is a vicious and merciless person. In other places, killing a Universe Lord might be difficult. However, in his 9 underworld space, killing a Universe Lord isn't difficult at all. Luo Feng was shocked within. He didn't expect the 9 underworld space to have such an absolute ruler hidden behind it. The inheritors in history had only scouted the surface. Right, the inheritors didn't even have the right to make that absolute being reveal himself. It could be said to be invincible. Luo Feng too had a thirst within. Teacher was invincible in the primal universe. This 9 underworld leader is invincible in the 9 underworld space. In the future, will I be able to do the same? In the entire universe, who will be invincible against me? Even though there were restrictions, it had to be restricted to a certain place to be invincible. However, Luo Feng was already envious of it. Basically, as long as he placed his body there, he would never die. The primal chaos city leader said, the 9 underworld leader is comparable to me in strength. We've worked together many times before, and he even owes me a favor. Oh, favor? Luo Feng was stunned. If you really meet with danger, you really won't be able to escape. The primal chaos city leader looked at Luo Feng. Just shout. 9 underworld leader, I'm a primal chaos disciple. That 9 underworld leader has complete control over the 9 underworld space. Any movement within it can't be hidden from him. The moment you shout, he will naturally know. No matter how dangerous you are, the moment he interferes, you'll definitely be fine. Luo Feng understood after hearing this. However, if you can avoid a favor, then don't. The primal chaos city leader said, if there's really no other way, then use it. Understood. Luo Feng nodded, feeling touched within. A favor was the hardest to repay. For an existence like the 9 underworld leader to owe a favor, it was such a rare thing. How valuable was it? It definitely wasn't any less valuable than a treasure. If you really ask, you can request something from him. You can't let him repay this favor so easily. The primal chaos city leader said, for example, directly tell him that you want that sector lord level world tree leaf. Such a small matter, he'll agree. Your disciple understands. Luo Feng nodded seriously. With the Masha clansman, he still had hope of escaping. If he wasn't forced into a truly desperate situation, he definitely wouldn't need to repay this favor. Go. The primal chaos city leader smiled. Yes. Luo Feng bowed respectfully and vanished from thin air. Last month, our monthly votes were ranked number 1. Tomato thanks all the brothers and sisters for their support. Everyone's rewards and votes. Tomato has seen it all. The current happiness and harmony in the Red Alliance is something Tomato really likes. Last month's number 1. This month, our Red Alliance brothers and sisters will once again fight for number one. In the new month, many brothers and sisters will have guaranteed monthly votes. Please support us and let us charge back to the number one spot. Asterisk, to be continued. If you like this work, please come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1002. The blood energy permeated the space. I didn't expect the entire 9 underworld space to be the territory of the Lord of the 9 underworld. Luo Feng was in the grass. The Lord of the 9 underworld is already invincible in this space. Don't tell me the special environment has a special effect on the strong. Luo Feng thought about it and didn't think anymore. This was still a distance away from him. Why are they looking for me? Luo Feng immediately connected to Glory World. Glory World, outdoor plaza. The moment Luo Feng appeared in midair, he immediately attracted the attention of countless inheritors in the plaza. Look, it's Blade River Emperor. Blade River Emperor has appeared. He's indeed powerful. His natural talent is the cloning technique. It's hard to even kill him. Luo Feng felt weird being stared at. What were they all staring at him for? These legatees were all peerless geniuses. The disturbance from the 620,000 challenges had long since passed. Even when he entered the Glory World before, only a small portion of the legatees would pay attention to him. They wouldn't surround him like he was a rare treasure. Blade River. In a corner of the plaza, Emperor Chemin shouted. Luo Feng immediately walked over. Walking in the plaza, wherever Luo Feng went, he would attract a bunch of gazes. The inheritors were all discussing amongst themselves as they looked at him. This made Luo Feng even more suspicious. Blade River Emperor, do you still have your wings? Suddenly a shout resounded. Luo Feng glanced. It was the huge Northern Border Alliance group's foreign race inheritor who laughed and shouted. That horny face had an expression that made Luo Feng disgusted. Luo Feng didn't bother, swiftly walking over to the Great Alliance group. What's going on? Luo Feng sat at a table. Beside him sat Emperor Chemin, Li Shuo, and Serene Emperor. These three were also the closest to Luo Feng in the Great Alliance group. Blade River, I heard you were chased by Bark Mirror Emperor and fell into the 9 underworld whirlpool. Is there such a thing? Emperor Chemin first isolated himself from the surrounding sounds before discussing softly. Luo Feng was shocked. He had only been in that space for a short while, and the news had already spread. Don't tell me it's true? Serene Emperor swiftly deduced from Luo Feng's expression. Right. Luo Feng nodded. The news had probably already spread. There was no need to hide it anymore. You actually really fell into the Netherworld vortex? That place is a place where even universe supremacies would find it difficult to survive. Thousand Rain Emperor said. Beside, Li Shuo Emperor and Chemin Emperor looked worriedly at Luo Feng. Chemin Emperor couldn't help but say, they all said that you fell into a desperate situation and got killed. Your treasured wings landed in that dangerous place. Where did you get this information from? Luo Feng couldn't help but ask. Anyway, if we talk to each other in this open-air plaza, the news will spread quickly. King Chemin said, it said that you were chased by the Bark Mirror Monarch and had nowhere to run. Then, you fell into the Netherworld vortex. Are you really in the Netherworld whirlpool? Dead? King Li Shuo couldn't help but ask. Right now, many were guessing that Luo Feng had already died once and used his clone technique to revive. However, the treasure had fallen into a desperate situation. I fell into the 9 underworlds vortex and arrived at a dangerous place, but I just entered that desperate situation and am still struggling. At least I didn't die immediately. Luo Feng shook his head. I just fell into that situation, and you guys actually have news of me already. The news travels really quickly. It was definitely Crow Knight or Bark Mirror Emperor or one or a few of them who spread the news. What does that Netherworld whirlpool lead to? King Chemin asked. How dangerous is it? Li Shuo said. Thousand Rain Emperor stared at Luo Feng. This was classified information. The number of people who could escape alive from there could be counted on one's fingers. The value of this information was extremely high. It was treated as top secret and not easily leaked out. Only those that could be easily discovered by the inheritors would be leaked out. That place is very dangerous. Luo Feng thought about the universe supremacies that were chasing Bark Mirror Emperor. He said solemnly, I can't teleport. I can't use my god country to teleport. In the strong there are as many as the clouds. Even if I'm struggling right now, it would be hard for me to escape. I can't teleport. I can't use my god country. Emperor Chaman, Li Shuo, and Thousand Rain Emperor's expressions changed. Isn't this equivalent to a world of sealing treasures? Emperor Chaman couldn't help but say. There was no way to escape. Even if he didn't die, he would be imprisoned there for countless years. To the strong, this was indeed terrifying. I won't talk much with you guys. I still have to continue fleeing. Luo Feng said solemnly and vanished. This made Emperor Chaman, Li Shuo, and Thousand Rain Emperor memorize it. The secret of the Netherworld Whirlpool was no ordinary information. If it wasn't for Luo Feng's good relationship with them, he wouldn't have easily revealed it. Luo Feng was fleeing in that space, try his best to get as far away as possible. And in the glory world, he was the topic of discussion. Bark Mirror Emperor is here. It's Bark Mirror Emperor. When Bark Mirror Emperor appeared in the plaza of Glory World, he too received the same treatment as Luo Feng. He was surrounded by large amounts of inheritors. Bark Mirror Emperor, I heard you were chasing Blade River Emperor? He was caught in the Netherworld Whirlpool. Is that true? Immediately an inheritor asked. Oomph. Bark Mirror Emperor snorted coldly. He didn't speak and headed straight for the gathering place of the Northern Border Alliance. After failing to obtain the Blade River King's treasure, he planned an adventure in the 9 Underworld space-time dimension. But suddenly, he received an email. It was sent to him through the Glory World by some of his friends. Only then did Bark Mirror King know that everything that had happened before had actually been spread throughout the Glory World. Bastard, if it's not Crow Knight, then it's those 5 bastards. However, those 5 bastards probably don't have the guts. It's very likely that it's Crow Knight spreading the news. Looks like he's not an idiot. The news of Blade River Emperor having a soul-type treasure is new. He's smart to not spread it. Bark Mirror Emperor thought. Simultaneously, he walked over to the Northern Border Alliance and casually sat down. Bark Mirror Emperor looked at the many inheritors around. I know, everyone is curious about this. Bark Mirror Emperor grinned ferociously. Although I don't know about the news spread by that bastard. Yes, that Blade River Emperor was indeed chased by me into the Netherworld Whirlpool. Haha, that's the Netherworld Whirlpool. Even a universe supremacy would find it hard to survive in there. Even if Blade River Emperor has a doppelganger technique, at least his treasure would have fallen into the whirlpool. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. Bark Mirror Emperor was arrogant and took the initiative to admit everything. 6 days later, on Circus Island, there were many palaces of different styles. Boom! A powerful aura of the origin source law descended, causing the entire island to shake. This caused many inheritors to immediately fly out and look at the center of the aura, True Yan's mansion. Above the mansion, a 5-colored whirlpool appeared. The auras of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth harmonized with each other, giving rise to an even more noble and majestic aura of the law of space. The core of the 5-color vortex was a stretch of nothingness. It was like a mysterious passageway that connected to the origin of the universe. Boundless divine power directly entered King True Yan's residence. He broke through the law of space. Who is this? He comprehended the complete law of space and became a universe supremacy. Figures rose above Circus Island, looking at the scene with shock and envy. More than 100 million inheritors on Circus Island were stuck at that step and had been longing for this day. Whose mansion is this? I don't know. I don't know either. Who is it? Who broke through and became a universe supremacy? I don't know. Not many inheritors knew, and most of the members of the Hong Alliance didn't know either. King Chapman said, that mansion is next to Blade River King's mansion. It belongs to one of the 2 inheritors sent by the human race. One is Blade River King, and the other is True Yan. True Yan? True Yan broke through and became a universe supremacy. This shocked many inheritors of the Hong Alliance. True, Yin has been stuck at that step for countless years. He finally broke through. We have to pay him a visit and congratulate him. No hurry. This is the most critical moment for true Yin to absorb divine power. We can't waste any time. On the path to becoming an expert, becoming an immortal, a universe supremacy, and a universe lord, the origin law of the universe would descend at these three critical moments. Especially the first time, it was the transformation of the body to the divine body, and one could absorb as much divine power as they wanted. But the second and third times were not so lucky. Of course, the moment of becoming a universe supremacy and the moment of becoming a universe lord, these two critical moments, although they could not absorb as much as they wanted, were much more special than the usual absorption of divine power. This was because the descent of the origin law was like a complete connection to the sea of laws, and one could absorb as much as they wanted. Unfortunately, the descent of the origin law was limited. After a certain time, the origin law would disappear, so one could only desperately absorb divine power for a short period of time. After a while, all the fluctuations dissipated. Immediately, some inheritors and even universe supremacies of the Hong Alliance went to visit. Creak. The door opened. True Yin was looking outside with a smile. Ha ha ha, please come in. Congratulations, True Yin. No, True Yin. True Yin, congratulations. You two have stepped into the universe supremacy level. Different from Luo Feng, True Yin had many more friends. Many universe supremacies were friends with True Yin. Yes, after such a long time, I've finally stepped into this level. True Yin nodded. He no longer looked tired. Instead, he was in high spirits. How much divine power did you absorb this time? Not bad. I took the opportunity to absorb as much as I could while the origin laws descended, raising my body to its current limit of 92%. True Yin said. It actually didn't reach 100%. We humans are small in size, so we store little divine power. I should be able to absorb 100% during this time. The larger one's body, the harder it was to store 100% of divine power. Like the world tree, with its huge body, if one stepped into the universe supremacy level, the short amount of time the origin laws descended would absorb more divine power than True Yin. However, compared to the world tree size, it would be like trying to put out a burning cart of firewood. He still had to rely on a long period of time to slowly accumulate divine power to raise it. True Yan's life genetic level evolved long ago, so it should be 10 times. After reaching the universe supremacy level, his body's limit is high too. To be able to store 92% is already not bad. True Yan communicated with the other warriors. He was curious. He had broken through to the universe supremacy level. Yet his disciple Luo Feng didn't come. P.S. 2 chapters completed. To be continued. If you like this work, please come Yen. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1003. Within True Yan's residence, the other Hong Alliance warriors were all extremely warm. It was a good thing to be friends with a Universe Knight, especially the other Universe Knights in the Hong Alliance who were close to True Yan. Why? Because there were differences between Universe Knights. For example, some Emperor Crown Pinnacle warriors breaking through to become Universe Knights were completely different from Invincible Emperor Crowns. There were 2 types of Invincible Emperor Crowns. One was like Silver Eye. He was born with a high level of life. Hence, he could easily reach the level of Invincible Emperor Crowns. One was like True Yan, at the standard of a normal race. Even if he tried his best to raise the genetic level of his life, he would be extremely lucky if he could raise it by 10 times. With this bit of ability, how difficult would it be for him to reach the level of invincible titled kings and to preserve his life under the attacks of universe paragons? He had to have some special methods that allowed him to look down on countless warriors. Whether it was the first or second type, once he became a Universe Knight, his combat power would be very strong. The first type would have an extremely strong body after becoming a Universe Knight. The second was that after becoming a Universe Sage, Undying would be able to preserve one's life against a Universe Sage. What would happen if he became a Universe Knight? After a while, The guests left one by one. Only Marshall Soup was left. Marshall Soup and True Yin had a very good relationship since a long time ago. Even after Marshall Soup became a universe knight, they still maintained a certain level of relationship. Marshall Soup, True Yin asked, "Do you know anything about the Saber River King? When I came to Circus Island with him and received the inheritance, I went into seclusion. I don't know what happened after that. Tell me about it." He had become a universe knight, yet Luo Feng did not come. Something must have happened. You don't know what happened after that. Venerable Wu Tang's voice was sonorous as he said, "You've missed a lot of fun. The Saber River King has been in the limelight as soon as he arrived. First, a large number of inheritors on Circus Island challenged him to a duel. They wanted to bully him, but the Saber River King took advantage of them." Marshall Soup's narration was very satisfying. From the 620,000 consecutive battles to the assassination of Luo Feng and the recent events in the 9 underworld space, he told them all. True Yin was initially all smiles as he listened. However, after knowing that Luo Feng had been assassinated and 9 underworld had been forced into a desperate situation by Bark Mirror Emperor, his expression became ugly. Rumor has it that the Blade River Emperor is Luo Feng. Marshal Tang Supreme smiled at True Yin. "Don't tell me the Blade River Emperor is really your disciple?" "You don't have to worry about it," Zhen Yin said. "Ha ha." Supremacy Wu Tang laughed and nodded. "I need your help with something," Zhen Yin said. "Say it, just say it. What kind of friendship do we have?" Venerable Wu Tang really valued Zhen Yin. Firstly, they had a life-and-death friendship. Secondly, he was optimistic about Zhen Yin's future. Because of the innate talent of the human race, every single person who was able to become an invincible emperor and break through to become a universe paragon had extraordinary achievements. "I need information about some of the dangerous places in the Ancestor God's secret realm, especially the 9 hell space-time," said True Yin. "Are you going there?" Venerable Wu Tang asked. "Stop talking nonsense." Zhen Yan's eyes flashed. "How can I not go?" "Ha, that's Zhen Yin. That's the famous Zhen Yin from back then." Venerable Wu Tang nodded. "I've already sent all the information to you through the virtual universe." Zhen Yin nodded and grinned. "I've been hiding in Primal Chaos City for 1,000,000,000 years. I'm afraid not many remember me." Half a day later, Zhen Yin was quietly preparing in his mansion. "Old friend, after 1,000,000,000 years of silence, I'm afraid you must be lonely." A long black stick suddenly appeared in Zhen Yan's hand. There were golden hoops on both ends of the stick, causing the whole black stick to exude a simple and unadorned aura. This was the first treasure that Zhen Yin had obtained when he was wandering in the universe. It accompanied him in life and death situations, killing time and time again. Only then did he achieve the title of Invincible Emperor. "This disciple of mine treats me like family. It's all thanks to him that I can become a universe paragon. Bark Mirror Emperor actually dares to bully my disciple like that. How can I forgive him?" Special life form, proficient in soul attacks and tracking. Zhen Yan's originally calm aura vanished. Instead, he emitted a sharp and violent aura. Violent, explosive. This was Zhen Yan, roaming the universe, killing countless, achieving the title of Invincible Emperor. It was just that he had been silent for too long. So long that many undying from the same era as him had fallen. After 1,000,000,000 years of silence, I've created 3 new techniques. Now that I'm a universe paragon, I'll use you as a sacrifice. True Yan's eyes were filled with madness. When he was an emperor, he had challenged a universe paragon and escaped with his life. He had a sort of madness in his bones. So, Zhen Yin charged into the sky from his mansion. With a teleport, he arrived at the teleportation fountain in front of the Island Lord's palace and swiftly headed towards the secret region. 9 Hell Space, Desolate Rock Island. As a universe paragon, he could easily teleport over 1,000 light years. Naturally, he could avoid many dangerous places. In less than half a day, Zhen Yin had already arrived at Desolate Rock Island. "I'll wait here." Zhen Yin sat cross-legged on a mountain peak. Based on the intel Wu Tang gave me, when exploring 9 Hell Space, one would often return to Desolate Rock island to rest. As long as Bark Mirror Emperor returns, following which, Zhun Yin closed his eyes. Like a resting tiger, he was waiting for the moment to kill. Below Desolate Rock Island, at the bottom of the Nine Hell Ocean, there was another world. Luo Feng was constantly fleeing, trying his best to get as far away as possible. So. Three silhouettes flew through the sky and suddenly stopped. It was the noble prince and the two universe paragons under him. We actually haven't found this outsider yet. The prince's eyes gleamed coldly. Your Majesty, our nine hell space is vast and endless. That outsider will definitely take the chance to escape. He might have already escaped far away. To find him, we'll have to spend more time. The slightly skinnier universe venerable said. These two universe venerables had blood-red skin and blood-red curved horns. How long do we have to wait? The prince creased his eyebrows. I'll give the order right now. In my territory, all the cities will send out half of their soldiers and spread out to search for that outsider. And all of them will communicate through the virtual world. The moment anyone finds him, inform me immediately. Also, every soldier must always be connected to the virtual world. The moment they lose it, it means they've died. It's definitely an outsider. Through the virtual world, the prince immediately gave the order to the armies under him. In the netherworld realm, every prince was in charge of a large territory, and they had absolute control over it. Search. Quickly, go search for that outsider undying. Like a swarm of locusts, large amounts of undying and sector lord warriors flew out from the cities and swiftly split up, flying in different directions. Every warrior was in charge of a region. The people of the Nine Hell world were very special. They had blood-red bodies and blood-red horns. They were a type of energy life form, and their talents were extremely high. Similar to the golden horned beast, as long as they reached adulthood, they would become sector lords. It was just that they didn't have any talents or techniques. Their bodies and life forms were similar to humans. As they would become sector lords at adulthood, there were many sector lords in the cities. The only difference was that their numbers were much lower compared to the humans. One had to know that the Nine Hell world wasn't that big. However, Luo Feng didn't even see a single person after flying for 10 billion kilometers. One could see just how small the population was. How these aboriginals were all howling excitedly. They split up in the sky and flew, using their world projection or law domains, or even God energy to scan the area. Basically, they were all thinking of ways to search. After 10 days of fleeing, Luo Feng finally met his first hunter. Within a lake, Luo Feng immediately hid below the lake and looked up. Through the lake water, he could see the blood-red silhouette flying at high speed. At the same time, a God energy swept through the entire lake. Luo Feng used a mini scanning device to hide himself. He looked at the scene. Just a God energy scan. How can it detect me? This scanning device is the highest-end mini scanning device I can buy. However, when the God energy reached Luo Feng, it actually stopped. Not good. I've been discovered. Luo Feng immediately understood. How can I be discovered? The blood-red silhouette in the sky stopped violently and gazed below. His eyes were filled with excitement. Outsider. So, Luo Feng couldn't care less about how he was discovered. He immediately broke out of the water, and with a flap of his wings, he became a silver light, and his speed reached his limit. Outsider, it's an outsider. I've discovered an outsider. That aboriginal undying chased Luo Feng. However, he realized the distance was getting further and further. He immediately reported through the virtual world, his eyes filled with excitement. This outsider used a scanning device and thought I wouldn't be able to discover him. In our Nine Darkness world, my God energy connects to the energy of the Nine Darkness world. I can clearly detect any outsider that isn't from my race. Don't even mention an undying. Even those universe knights wouldn't be able to escape from us. So. Luo Feng's speed was shockingly fast. Very quickly, he disappeared from that undying's vision. How'd I get discovered? Luo Feng was filled with suspicions as he fled. my scanning device. Even an Emperor-level invincible wouldn't be able to discover me when I'm hidden. That Bark Mirror Emperor discovered me because of his heaven-defying scanning methods. However, how did a normal aboriginal undying discover me? This is big trouble. This is big trouble. Luo Feng knew he wouldn't be able to have a peaceful time. Indeed, the moment the prince got the news, he immediately brought 2 of his subordinates over, and even arranged for the nearby undying warriors and even some other powerful warriors to stop them. P.S. Chapter 1 has arrived. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1004. Within the territory controlled by the prince, large amounts of undyings and sector lord warriors had spread out and were searching for Luo Feng. Hence, even if the prince gave the order to surround Luo Feng, it would still take a long time for them to rush over. Flee! This army has probably spread out in many places. To gather and surround me, it'll take quite some time. Luo Feng activated his Wu killer wings and became a silver light, breaking through the skies and flying swiftly. I have to make use of this time to increase my distance. I definitely can't fall into their trap. Large amounts of aboriginals gathered from all directions, and Luo Feng was trying his best to escape from the trap. On the second day, Luo Feng met 3 aboriginals consecutively, 2 undyings and 1 sector lord. Pung! Luo Feng's spirit energy pierced straight into the sector lord warrior's body, discovering only 1 diamond within. Energy life form, similar to the Masha clansman, soul attacks are all ineffective. Luo Feng glanced at the sector lord warrior. Knowing he couldn't control him, he couldn't be bothered to kill him, continuing to flap his wings and flee. That sector lord warrior was stunned. He didn't kill me. I've discovered an outsider. I've discovered an outsider. The aboriginal immediately used the virtual world to report. On the second day, he met 3 aboriginals. On the third day, he met 12 aboriginals. On the fourth day, he met 21 aboriginals. On the 5th day, he met a total of 52 aboriginals. As time passed, the scattered aboriginals began to gather. With Luo Feng as the center, the density of the aboriginals in the area began to rise. This made Luo Feng feel a sense of danger. However, he had no other choice. Obviously, the enemy was tracking his movements. The strange thing was on the 6th day, he only met 1 aboriginals. On the 7th day, he only met 1 aboriginals. From the 8th to the 12th, he only met 1 aboriginals a day. Not good. A few days ago, those aboriginals were tracking my movements. Their encirclement was getting stronger and stronger. There were even 11 aboriginals undyings that worked together to kill me. However, now, they've suddenly disappeared. Luo Feng felt like a storm was brewing. He was like a turtle in a jar, constantly struggling. However, this time, he was in trouble. In the air above the continuous mountain range, the noble and elegant prince and the 2 universe supremacies under him stood in midair. I didn't expect this outsider undying to be so good at escaping. The prince smiled. We sent our race undying warriors to surround him, but we couldn't stop him. Looks like the only way to deal with him is to use the universe venerable level foreign race techniques. Your Highness, the encirclement is almost complete. The 9 generals are all in position. The lean universe venerable said respectfully. As long as Your Highness gives the order, the army can immediately begin the final operation. That outsider has no hope of escaping. Don't rush. Wait for me to rush over. The prince smiled. For an outsider undying to be this strong, I am very curious. It would be a pity to let the generals kill him. I want to kill him myself. Yes, Your Highness. The 2 universe supremacies respectfully complied. Let's go, His Royal Highness ordered. Whoosh! The 3 of them flew directly towards the encirclement. Even the high and mighty prince didn't have many universe supremacies under him. Dispatching the 9 generals was already his limit. Luckily, the entire netherworld was incomparably safe. Hence, he was able to dispatch all his generals over. These aboriginals are definitely gathering. there's a high possibility of them forming a large encirclement. Luo Feng stood in the swamp, frowning. There's a high possibility of multiple encirclements. The moment I escape one of them, the other aboriginals will naturally gather towards me. The encirclement will continue to close. There might even be a universe supremacy leading the troops. Universe supremacy level aboriginals. Luo Feng had seen them before. Barking Mirror Emperor could only flee. If I meet a universe supremacy foreign race, I'll be finished. Luo Feng frowned. Execute the clone plan. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. 9 silhouettes appeared around Luo Feng. They were all foreign races. Master's master. The foreign slaves all bowed respectfully. Change to my appearance. Luo Feng ordered. Yes. These foreign god slaves all transformed, very quickly becoming Luo Feng's appearance. Only their auras were completely different. Undyings could naturally transform. However, if their bodies changed too much, it would affect their strength. However, obviously Luo Feng didn't care about this. As for their auras, only a few of the aboriginals had actually seen him before, and the entire army, it would be hard to tell if he was real or fake. Listen to my orders. Luo Feng immediately ordered. You will be number 1. You will be number 2. You two go first. Luo Feng immediately began to plan. Within the slaves he controlled, there were slaves too, especially the normal undyings and official level. There were even more. Casually wasting 9, Luo Feng indeed didn't care. Yes, number 1 and number 2 complied respectfully, after which they became 2 beams of light and swiftly flew away. Luo Feng used the 9 disguised Luo Feng to intentionally lure the aboriginals and change their encirclement. During the process, Luo Feng suddenly received a message from Glory World. The content was simple, just one sentence. True Venerable and the Northern Border Alliance are fighting. This made Luo Feng jump in shock. True Venerable? Teacher has become a Universe Knight? Fighting with the Northern Borderline Alliance? Why is Teacher fighting with the Northern Borderline Alliance? Luo Feng's first thought swiftly flashed in his mind, after which he couldn't care about anything else. Even though he was executing his escape plan, it would take 2 to 3 days. Luo Feng still split a thread of his consciousness to connect to Glory World. Glory World's open plaza. The moment Luo Feng appeared, he couldn't care less about the other inheritors, immediately heading to the Great Alliance's gathering area. What's going on? Luo Feng sat down, looking at Emperor Chaman, Li Shuo, and Qiu Rain Emperor. They're fighting. It's a crazy fight. Qiu Rain Emperor said excitedly. True Venerable is simply too powerful. Emperor Chaman couldn't help but compliment. Back then he made his name as an invincible emperor. After 1 trillion years of silence, he's finally exploded. It's indeed powerful. Powerful, powerful. Li Shuo Emperor said too. Speak quickly. What's the situation? Luo Feng was confused. True Yin has become a knight? And what's going on with the Northern Border Alliance? The 3 of them glanced at Luo Feng. There had long been rumors that Luo Feng was the Blade River Emperor. If the rumors were true, then it wouldn't be strange for the Blade River Emperor to be so concerned about True Yin. True Yin became a knight. It happened about 10 days ago, Emperor Chaman said, after which he left Circus Island. We don't know where he went, but from the looks of it, he went to 9 underworld space. 9 underworld space? Luo Feng thought. Just today, he fought with Bark Mirror Emperor on the desolate rock island of the 9 underworld space. Emperor Chaman said excitedly. Beside, Qiu Rain Emperor interrupted. True Yin actually defeated Bark Mirror Emperor. You didn't expect that, right? Even that Bark Mirror Emperor was forced into a corner and almost died. At the crucial moment, he summoned a warrior from the Northern Border Alliance who was also in the Ancestral God sect. He's called 10,000 Fire Knight. 10,000 Fire Knight is an outer member of the Ancestral God sect. He's extremely powerful. Li Shuo Emperor said. It's him? Luo Feng was shocked. The outer members of the Ancestral God sect, other than the candidates for envoys and generals, were those who had reached the pinnacle of the Beast God inheritance. at least completely accepted the 5th level. That hero was someone who had completely accepted the 6th level. He was already a universe overlord. This 10,000 Fire Knight, even though he wasn't considered a universe overlord, he was very close. And then, Luo Feng asked nervously. True Yin was incomparably powerful. After killing Bark Mirror Emperor and almost killing him, he battled 10,000 Fire Knight again. However, 10,000 Fire Knight is indeed worthy of being an outer member of the ancestral god sect. Even True Yin wasn't his match. After risking his life, he actually managed to escape from 10,000 Fire Knight, escaping back to Circe Island. Emperor Chimin said excitedly. He escaped back? Luo Feng let out a sigh of relief. Emperor Chimin nodded. Back when True Yin was still an emperor, when he was still roaming outside, he battled with the universe overlords. He was able to escape with his life then. His escaping abilities were indeed very strong. I heard that Bark Mirror Emperor's speed couldn't even compare to True Yin. He couldn't even escape, being chased by True Yin. If 10,000 Fire Knight was a little late, he would have fallen. Luo Feng was shocked within. Powerful. This teacher of his had never revealed himself, hiding in Primal Chaos City for trillions of years, stuck at the last step. Who would have thought that after becoming a universe overlord, his explosive speed would be even faster than Bark Mirror Emperor? And he was so strong. Powerful. Teacher was actually able to block Bark Mirror Emperor's natural talent attack. Luo Feng was excited too. Regarding this battle, Luo Feng was filled with excitement and curiosity, immediately contacting his teacher through the virtual universe. Virtual universe, an exclusive space. Every human universe overlord had their own space in the virtual universe. This was a floating golden mountain range. Below the mountain range was a sky filled with flames, constantly burning the entire mountain range. Within a mountain range were countless black plants. No matter how the flames burned, they still stubbornly grew. And at the peak of this golden mountain range, there was a layer of ice, snow, and ice covering the entire surface of the mountain. Teacher, Luo Feng appeared in midair, smiling and shouting. Venerable True Yin was wearing a suit of golden armor. He sat there and drank happily. Ha ha, come, my disciple, accompany me to drink, it's fun. True Yin called for Luo Feng. Luo Feng didn't waste any time, walking straight to accompany his teacher to drink. Disciple, do you know why I'm so happy? True Yin looked at Luo Feng. Why? Luo Feng was curious. Is it because you're happy? Beating Bark Mirror Monarch was within my expectations. It was like beating a dog. Moreover, I was severely injured by Venerable Wan Shou. My divine body was only left with 46%. How am I happy? Venerable True Yin gritted his teeth. Then why is teacher so happy? Luo Feng was curious. P.S. 2 chapters completed. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1005. An unexpected gain. True Yin picked up the bottle and drank 3 big gulps, after which his eyes gleamed as he looked at Luo Feng. Do you know, your teacher has some luck too. Even though it's not as good as yours, it's still not bad. Teacher, did you get treasure? Luo Feng thought and asked. Wrong. True Yin shook his head. At the Universe Night level, other than breaking through in training, I'm afraid the happiest thing is to get a treasure. However, you said it's because I got a treasure. That's not accurate, because I didn't get a treasure this time. The reason I'm happy is because I discovered that I originally had a treasure. I thought it was just a normal treasure. Who knew it was so extraordinary? Even though it hasn't stepped into the ultimate level, it's definitely a top-level treasure with power. Congratulations, teacher. Luo Feng smiled. I'm happy. Even at the undying level, I didn't notice its uniqueness. This is the first time I've fought to my heart's content after stepping into the Universe Night level. True Yin sighed. Now that I've ignited my God energy to unleash it, it actually has a new transformation. It actually has a second form. This is definitely a top-level treasure if it has a third form. Then it'll be an ultimate treasure. Luo Feng nodded. The Wu Killer Wings had 3 forms. Teacher, What treasure are you talking about? Luo Feng couldn't help but ask curiously. Haha. Truyan glanced at Luo Feng, saying, even though your teacher's movement is powerful, that Bark Mirror Emperor is after all an expert in tracking and scouting. His escaping abilities are extremely strong. Even if I can suppress him, I can't kill him to the point where he can't even escape. That's because the pair of boots I acquired back then had a second transformation. Its power was unleashed. The boot's power has increased. I've already created my own pinnacle movement. My speed is extremely fast. Truyan couldn't help but be excited. Along with this second transformation, even Bark Mirror Emperor can't escape. Even if I encountered that 10,000 feet venerable, whose strength far surpassed mine, I was still able to escape with my combat boots. Disciple, this kind of treasure that can allow one to escape is priceless. 10,000 feet venerable strength isn't any weaker than venerable Shihua. Being able to escape from him means that your teacher, me, is considered average among the universe's venerables, but my ability to escape is considered high. Disciple, I am happy to have obtained a treasure. I thought that it was just an ordinary treasure, but turned out to be a truly powerful treasure. This makes me even happier. Tru Yin sighed. Treasures were covered in dust, but one day they would shine. He, Zhen Yin, had finally shone and stood firmly among the strong in the universe. Teacher, you said your strength is average. How can you make Bark Mirror Emperor unable to retaliate at all? Luo Feng couldn't help but ask. I heard that many universe knights fear that Bark Mirror Emperor. Bark Mirror Monarch's own strength isn't that strong. What's strong is his talent and secret technique. Tru Yin explained. You should know that an ordinary universe supremacy's divine body is 100 times stronger than a conferred divine body. I know. Luo Feng nodded. A universe supremacy's divine body, even the most normal one, has 10 million times Sector Lord strength. Tru Yin said. And to be able to become a universe supremacy, who wouldn't think of ways to raise their own life forms? Normally they can raise it by a few times. Like me, I've already raised it by 10 times. Hence, after I became a universe supremacy, my divine body has 100 million times Sector Lord strength. And that Bark Mirror Emperor's limit is 2,000 times that of a normal emperor. That's 200 million times Sector Lord strength. That's only twice mine. Luo Feng nodded. One's divine body had 200 million Sector Lord strength. The other had 100 million Sector Lord strength. The difference wasn't huge. His divine body, along with that defensive treasure, allowed him to fight against a normal universe supremacy head-on. However, his attack power is very ordinary. His divine body is only twice as strong as mine. His origin law comprehension is weaker than the other universe supremacies. His own techniques are weaker than most of them too. Hence his attack power is much weaker. He can only rely on his heaven-defying natural talent and techniques to attack. His natural talent and techniques are extremely strong. Luckily, I'm a fighter. Fighters are most afraid of being attacked by illusions and other soul attacks. Hence, I've been researching soul defense techniques. Tru Yin said, back when I roamed the universe, my soul defense was already extremely strong. It was already considered a pinnacle technique. And hiding in Primal Chaos City for 1 trillion years, I was unable to break through in my origin law comprehension. Hence, I spent most of my energy on creating techniques. Even though my talent isn't as good as yours, after 1 trillion years of research, I've created 3 great techniques, of which the strongest is the soul defense technique. Even though it's still a pinnacle technique, it's 10 times stronger than before. Tru Yin smiled. With my God energy ignition and soul defense technique, along with my willpower that I've trained for 1 trillion years, I don't believe I can't take it. After all up till now, Bark Mirror Emperor has no record of killing a universe supremacy. Luo Feng nodded. Bug Chasing Emperor had a record of killing a universe supremacy. However, Bark Mirror Emperor didn't. His natural talent and techniques are very strong. However, I withstood it. Tru Yin grinned. I withstood his natural talent and techniques. Hence, he's destined to be destroyed by me. Redbud Island. Bark Mirror Emperor's residence. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Bark Mirror Emperor roared within the residence. His roars reverberated within the residence. However, they didn't travel outside. Bark Mirror Emperor's eyes were filled with ferocity. Damn true yen. Bark Mirror Emperor gritted his teeth. I'll remember you. I'll remember you. Very good. You actually dare to attack me. You actually dare to attack a great special life form. You're really asking for death. You're strong now. When I become a universe supremacy, when that time comes, killing you will be as easy as stepping on a bug. He actually directly withstood my natural talent and techniques. And what terrifying techniques. Bark Mirror Emperor shuddered as he recalled. True, Yin wielded that black long rod and smashed him to the point of almost killing him. If not for my treasures protecting me. If not for Wan Chi Knight arriving in time. Bark Mirror Emperor felt fear. Even though his treasures were strong, True Yan's comprehension of the laws was obviously stronger than his. That rod technique was obviously of a higher level, causing his attacks to be extremely strong. Even though the treasures weakened him by 90% each time, it still caused his divine body to constantly wear down. Wait. One day, I'll become a universe supremacy. Bark Mirror Emperor's eyes were filled with madness and hatred. This was the first time he was so close to death. This made him hate the human even more. 9 underworld space within that landed space. Luo Feng's consciousness had just returned from the virtual universe. Rumor has it that if an invincible emperor breaks through to become a universe supremacy, he'll be stronger than normal universe supremacies. The rumor is indeed true. Luo Feng nodded within. Accumulating for a long time. This is what it means to be an invincible emperor. Over the long years of accumulating. If one's origin law comprehension isn't enough, they'll study techniques. It's fine if they don't break through. However, once they do, they'll become extremely strong. Luo Feng smiled. The Masha clansman has been floating for so long. I've finally reached the world tree. As long as I get one of its leaves, I'll be able to nurture my third body. When that happens, I'll step into the undying level. Bark Mirror Emperor? Since you dare to kill me and steal my treasures, then once I step into the undying level, I'll definitely kill you too. Luo Feng thought. He had absolute confidence in himself. The moment he becomes an undying, Luo Feng's goal would naturally be to compete with the other universe supremacies. He would be able to compete with Bug Emperor and other unique life forms in the universe. As for Bark Mirror Emperor, he would kill him personally. The world tree's leaves, it all depends on this. Luo Feng didn't think anymore. His main focus was on the Masha clansmen. 9 underworld space, Tree Island. The Tree Island was as peaceful as ever. Beautiful flowers and plants were everywhere. The seed pom-poms floated throughout the entire island. The Masha pom-poms had already landed near the sector Lord Level World Tree. I've arrived. It all depends on this. The Masha clansman was filled with anticipation. The fur on the pom-poms, too, looked at everything before them. This world tree was still as tall as ever. Every leaf was like a jade crystal carving. It was beautiful and captivating. Rings of light surrounded it. At this time, within the cave on the desolate rock island, an Emperor Pinnacle undying servant appeared with a fire god crystal in his hand. So, 3 teleportations. The first 2 teleportations were above the ocean. The third teleportation, this Emperor Pinnacle undying immediately arrived at the core of the island, the World Tree's domain. The place he appeared was the closest sector Lord Level World Tree to the Masha clansmen. It was about 500,000 kilometers away from the Masha clansmen. Explode. The moment the Emperor teleported, he threw out the fire god crystal. Following closely, he teleported again, immediately moving 1,000,000 km to the bottom of the huge tree and attacking the sector Lord Level World Tree. Rumble. The moment the fire god crystal was thrown out, it immediately exploded. The fire god crystal he brought this time was slightly stronger than the previous one. At close range, it was enough to kill an Emperor-level beginner-level undying. The main thing was that Luo Feng only had so many of them. This was already considered weak. Following the explosion, the area around the explosion point of the fire god origin crystal immediately turned into nothingness. A large number of branches in the distance broke and were directly blown away by the strong shock wave. Countless broken leaves were like arrows under the shock wave, flying in all directions. For a time, they flew in all directions, covering the sky. The branches of the world tree. The Emperor Pinnacle's servant teleported 1,000,000 km away. The moment he appeared, he grabbed a huge branch that was at least 300 m thick. Break it! The king-ranked servant was about to break the branch. The entire domain Lord World tree let out a furious roar as the entire tree crown trembled. A large number of branches and leaves wrapped around this peak stage king-ranked servant. Despicable outsider, despicable outsider. You hurt me again and again. Go and die, go and die. P.S. Chapter 1 has arrived. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1006. That world tree had acted before, however this time he didn't. Obviously, he wanted his child to suffer a little and learn a lesson. What's more, his god energy had already enveloped the Sector Lord level world tree's main branch, ensuring that his child wouldn't die. Since that's the case, then he'll let his child fight. The Emperor level slave, however, was a little crazy. He immediately ignited his god energy, almost like a burning star. The powerful burning god energy caused the countless branches and leaves around him to burn into nothingness, unable to get close. Pah! A crisp sound, like a piece of jade breaking. That 300-meter wide branch was directly broken by the peak stage Regis Godfiend servant. Go! The Emperor level slave immediately teleported away. According to Luo Feng's orders, he first threw the fire god crystal and then snatched the world tree branch and fled. With his ignited god body, he was indeed able to easily break that branch. Wong, the strongest world tree, which had been paying close attention to all this, finally intervened. An invisible force swept past the peak stage king-ranked servant. The peak stage king-ranked servant, who had just been hugging the 300-meter thick branch of the world tree, shuddered. Then, with a whoosh, he turned into dust and scattered in midair. He died. From the time the Emperor-level slave teleported, broke the world tree, and was killed, it didn't even take half a second. He's still dead, the Masha clansman said. I thought the Emperor-level slave would throw the fire god crystal the first time and attract attention. The second time he teleported, he would probably be killed. I didn't expect him to have the chance to break the branch. The Masha clansman was curious. With the world tree's ability, the moment he noticed, he would be able to kill him immediately. How would Luo Feng know the matters between the world tree and his son? Wong. Countless broken branches and leaves flew through the air, shooting everywhere. That intense shockwave caused some seeds to fly around, some of which landed where the Masha clansman was. It's coming. The Masha clansman was anticipating that moment. He didn't dare have any special reactions. He was just like a normal ball, floating along with the shockwave. Who? One of the broken branches, with only one leaf on it, was the first to smash towards the Masha clan's clone. This is the moment. Let's go. The Masha clone seemed to be affected by the shockwave as it flew around and crashed into one of the world tree branches. Shio. Teleportation. Without making a sound, he directly teleported several dozen light years away from the netherworld dimension. At the core of the island, in the world tree territory, the crown of the Sector Lord World Tree was shaking, at the same time roaring, "It's me again! It's me again! You're attacking me again! Why is it me again? Damn it, damn it!" Haha, poor Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi, didn't you say not to interfere? If you don't, the outsiders will escape. I said not to interfere. Even if the branch is stolen, I am willing. Father, why are you interfering? The Sector Lord level world tree that was attacked roared in rage. Stop messing around. Such a large branch is enough to nurture a tree of life. I won't let that outsider steal the branch of the world tree. The gentle voice echoed throughout the world tree's territory. Humph. The Sector Lord World tree immediately started to recover. At the same time, it attracted a few broken branches back to its crown. It didn't even notice that one of the leaves had disappeared in the entire world tree territory. When a Masha clan's clone escaped, only the strongest world tree reacted instantly with its perception of the space-time. But by the time it noticed, the Masha clone had already teleported out of the netherworld dimension. As for the Sector Lord World tree, not noticing that one of its branches had disappeared, it wasn't strange. There is a fundamental difference between Sector Lord and Undying. Once one stepped into Undying, each leaf would be infused with a life imprint. Naturally, one would be able to sense it. But the Sector Lord's World tree, actually Sector Lord level plant life forms, still had some plant characteristics. Without a life imprint on a leaf, one wouldn't be able to sense it. Not to mention a plant. Even if a human Sector Lord lost an arm, it wouldn't be able to sense it even if it was brought several dozen light years away. Plus, the explosion just now caused a lot of damage. The Sector Lord World tree didn't even notice that one of its branches had been taken away. Teleportation? A universe lord's teleportation? Even I didn't notice it when it hit its energy. That should be a natural ability. A universe lord that knows how to change his energy actually stole a leaf? The strongest world tree was suspicious within, but it didn't think much about it. To it, losing a leaf was like a human losing a dandruff in the space outside the netherworld dimension. So, the black-clothed Luo phone appeared in midair. In his hand was an oily jade-like branch leaf. Ha ha ha! I've finally gotten it. The Masha clone stared at the leaf in its hands, extremely excited. Third clone. With this, if I'm lucky, I'll be able to nurture the world tree clone. When that happens, the world tree will be rooted in the God country, supporting it, making it incredibly stable and huge. And its huge size, even bigger than the mountain passenger teacher and the primal chaos city leader's god body. Even if my other clones use up all their god energy, they can swiftly replenish it from the world tree clone. Different clones, but the same god energy. Just like the law ocean, it was the purest god energy. The moment it was infused with his life imprint, it would have an owner. Whether it was his earth body, Masha clansman, golden horned beast, or the world tree clone, they would all be formed from Luo Feng's soul imprint infused with god energy. Even if the golden horned beast lost 80% of its god body, it could swiftly replenish it from the world tree clone. Compared to the world tree, 80% of the golden horned beast god body wouldn't even amount to 1/10, 000th of the world tree. And it has the talent to control time and space. Humph. If it succeeds. The Masha clone was getting more and more anxious. Wang, the space beside him rippled with a jade-green light. A normal, undying servant stepped out from within. This normal, undying servant was specially sent by the golden horned beast in the primal region. Master's master. The servant bowed respectfully. Let's go. The Masha clone immediately brought the servant through the god country. Using the servant's god country as a transfer point, they arrived in the primal region. Primal region, within the majestic palace. Sky Formation Emperor stood there waiting silently. When the jade-green light appeared, the Masha clansman and the undying servant appeared together. Sky Formation Emperor immediately bowed. Master. The Masha clone nodded. He didn't care about anything else and ordered, from now on, forbid anyone from entering my palace. Yes. Sky Formation Emperor bowed respectfully. So, the Masha clone had already vanished. Within the internal world of the core, the golden horned beast and the Masha clone stood on the endless plains. The golden horned beast's mountain-like head drooped, looking at the world tree leaf in the Masha clone's hand. The last hurdle. The Masha clone said softly, there's a limit to my internal world's nurturing. It's 10 times or even 100 times that of the golden horned beast. And this world tree is about the limit of the internal world nurturing. Will it succeed or fail? Nervous. He had spent a lot of time and effort, and even his main body from Earth was implicated in the netherworld realm. However, Luo Feng wouldn't regret it, as long as the third clone succeeded. After all, a suitable and powerful clone was too difficult. The last gamble. The Masha clone waved its hand fiercely. The beautiful jade-like broken branches and leaves of the world tree flew directly into the sky. The last gamble. Within the 9 underworld, Luo Feng's eyes were slightly red. He was nervous like never before. The 3 great clans were all waiting for this moment, the moment that would decide their fate. Xiao! The green light flew straight into the sky, constantly flying, almost like an aurora. It was glaring. The Masha clone and the golden-horned beast raised their heads and watched. The world tree leaf flew straight into the sky. One had to know that the entire internal world had a diameter of over 100 million kilometers, and this world tree leaf flew all the way to the center of the internal world before stopping and floating there. Natural ability, clone. Luo Feng's consciousness immediately ordered. He had 3 chances, one to nurture his earth body, one to nurture the Masha clansman. This was the last. Rumble, the entire internal world began to tremble. Endless world energy began to madly gather. In an instant, the entire internal world seemed to have entered the end of the world. Simultaneously, a huge golden ball appeared in mid-air within the internal world. The most crucial moment. The Masha clansmen and golden-horned beast, including Luo Feng in the 9 underworld, were all very nervous. Pump! The golden ball shook violently. This shocked the Masha clansmen and the others. Pump! The golden ball shook violently again, almost as though a fire god crystal exploded within. Boom! 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 A series of explosions rang out. Luo Feng's consciousness intensely felt the immense pressure from the life imprint of the world tree within the golden ball. That pressure made it hard for the entire internal world to withstand. The golden ball began to crack with a paw. Gradually, more and more cracks appeared. Not good. The black-clothed Luo Feng's expression changed greatly. Pong! The final huge tremble caused the entire golden ball to explode, becoming endless world energy that flew everywhere. The world tree leaf also completely disintegrated during this process. The black-clothed Luo Feng and the golden-horned beast watched this scene silently. Silence. The entire internal world was deathly silent. Within the 9 underworld, the nervous Luo Feng felt his heart skip a beat. He couldn't help but clench his fists tightly, his eyes filled with pain and unwillingness. Failure. The nurturing failed. P.S. 2 chapters completed. To be continued. If you like this work, please come Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1007. Luo Feng stood amidst the weeds, grabbing the weeds before him and crushing them into nothingness. I failed. I actually failed to nurture the third body. Luo Feng felt his mind ringing. Even when his earth body was in such a desperate situation, he wasn't this flustered before. Ever since he left Earth and stepped into the universe, Luo Feng had been desperately trying to improve. Time and time again, he walked further and further on the path of the strong. However, Luo Feng had to admit, the Masha clansmen and the Golden Horn Beast had played a huge role in this. Even though willpower and temperament were important, talent was important too. The third clone is extremely important to my future development and my future position in the universe. Like an undying knight, even though he's only a universe knight, even the universe lords don't dare underestimate him. Because up till now, no one has been able to truly kill him. Luo Feng thought, if I have the world tree body, even if the other bodies fall, with the large amounts of God energy provided by the world tree, I can swiftly recover. When that time comes, I'll have the same power as an undying knight. I can be said to be undying. The God country is a God spirit's greatest weakness. And the world tree in the God country, 1. Buffing the God country, 2. The world tree itself is strong, 3. The world tree's natural ability to control time and space, along with the pressure of the God country, its power will definitely explode. Luo Feng couldn't accept it. This was the most suitable one he chose from the sector Lord-level special life forms he knew of. Actually, he had the 9 Calamity Manual. In theory, it was more suitable to find a blood and flesh life form. That way his body would reach an extremely strong level. However, with Luo Feng's current position and authority, he knew some information. The universe had its limits. For example, the body amplitude and soul amplitude had a limit of 100 times. For example, the highest level life form, even if it was a unique life form in the universe, it would only be a few thousand to 10,000 times. I already have the Golden Horned Beast. With a 9 Calamity Manual, the Golden Horned Beast will definitely be able to reach a level comparable to those unique life forms. Luo Feng thought, since that's the case, I don't have to find another blood and flesh life form. After all, most of them aren't that big. Size represented the amount of God energy. The bigger, the better, like the Sector Lord level world tree. Because of its large size, even if the strongest fire god origin crystal exploded, it would probably only be able to destroy a few million km of its body. Compared to its 100 million kilometers diameter tree crown, 60 million kilometers height. Even the strongest fire god origin crystal only gave it light injuries. Like the strongest world tree, not mentioning its own strength, just that huge body is enough to make the other universe's paragons despair. Even if the other universe's paragons self-destructed, they would only be able to lightly injure the strongest world tree. Luo Feng was filled with unwillingness within. Ignoring his comprehension of the origin laws, just that huge body alone makes it so that only universe lords can threaten him. What do I do now? The world tree's nurturing failed. Obviously, my internal world can't handle it. Luo Feng gritted his teeth. Then what should my third body nurture? It was okay to fail once. The innate secret technique, doppelganger, was destined to have 3 doppelgangers. Of course, the prerequisite was that it had already been nurtured before undying. If he entered the immortal realm, without the world in his body, he wouldn't be able to nurture it. Then, this chance would be wasted. Breed what? My third body. Just what should I nurture? Luo Feng's mind went through the information of the special life forms. Flesh and blood special life form. Even if he relied on the 9-level manual, it would only be another unique life form in the universe, comparable to the Golden Horned Beast. Temporarily excluded. Energy special life form. Small size 2 excluded. Rock type? Plant type? There were some choices for these two. Within the plant type, Luo Feng placed the most importance on the world tree. As for the rock-type life form, he placed the most importance on Li Huashan. Li Huashan is my third choice. First is the world tree. Second is the ancestral star tree. The first two are both tree-type life forms. Luo Feng shook his head within. Compared to the world tree, the second choice, the ancestral star tree, was obviously weaker. The third choice, Li Huashan, was even weaker than the ancestral star tree. Luo Feng's first choice was size. The world tree, ancestral star tree, and Li Huashan were all special life forms with huge bodies. The failure to nurture the third body was a huge blow to Luo Feng. However, he quickly recovered. Since he couldn't nurture the world tree, then what kind of body should he nurture? I have to think about it carefully. Luo Feng thought, right now I'm trapped in this 9-hell world. I have 3 treasures on me. I can't lose any one of them, especially the Pagoda Pearl. I'll first let the Masha clansmen save me and leave this place. Within the primal region, within one of the countless palaces within the 1,000 Treasure River. South, the Masha clansmen appeared within the palace. Master, Sky Formation Emperor bowed respectfully. Simultaneously, he was suspicious within. He thought his master would be in closed-door training for a long time. Hence, he ordered to prevent others from disturbing him. He didn't expect him to come out so quickly. The Masha clansmen's eyes were still filled with unwillingness. Send me to the desolate rock island. The Masha clansmen swiftly summoned a slave. Within the 2 caves of the island, there were 2 rings disguised as rocks. Every ring had a few items belonging to different slaves. Yes, The slave replied respectfully. Wong, a golden light lit up. Bathed in it, the Masha clansman could already see the god country's vast ocean on the other side of the tunnel. So, he immediately vanished. Nine Hell Space Desolate Rock Island. The moment the Masha clansman appeared on the island, he immediately teleported towards the Nine Hell Ocean below. He could clearly sense his main body's location. Hence, naturally, he tried to get as close as possible. Rumble, deep within the ocean, the water raged. Every drop of water was as heavy as a mountain. The Masha clansman appeared in the ocean. My main body is below. The Masha clansman gazed below. I can sense his exact location. So. The Masha clansman continuously teleported downwards. With just 3 teleportations, he arrived at the bottom of the Nine Hell Ocean. At the bottom of the Nine Hell Ocean, there was an endless amount of blood, red energy flowing about. The energy was boiling and rumbling, almost like boiling water vapor. The powerful energy it emitted was comparable to a universe night. This caused the Masha clansman's expression to change. I can't teleport below. The Masha clansman frowned. This blood, red energy has completely suppressed the space ripples. From the coordinates of the universe, my main body and I are 6 light days apart. The Masha clansman was secretly anxious. 6 light days. Light would take 6 days to reach there. Using his natural ability domain, he could at most travel 10,000 kilometers. Even if he traveled 100 times a second, it would still take 2 to 3 days to reach there. The prerequisite was, within this blood, red energy current, there was no danger at all. But from the looks of it, it doesn't seem like there is no danger. The Masha clansman looked at the rumbling blood, red energy current. Although the Nine Hell Ocean was extremely heavy, it was unable to enter the range of the blood red energy current. Let's risk it. After all, failure will just waste some energy. The Masha clansman no longer hesitated. He directly entered the blood red energy current. He didn't directly use his natural ability domain. Instead, he used the most basic method of flying. The moment he touched the blood red energy current, the Masha clansman felt a terrifying resistance. Chi, the Masha clansman forcefully flew in, but the resistance of the blood red energy current was ridiculously strong. The deeper he flew, the more ridiculous the resistance became. When a Masha clansman entered 2 meters, he was completely stuck in the blood red energy current, unable to fly any further. He couldn't even return. What a terrifying resistance. The Masha clansman's expression changed. If it was other experts, they wouldn't have my natural ability domain. If they tried to force their way in, they would be stuck in the depths of the blood red energy current and wouldn't be able to move at all. As expected of the Lord of the Nine Hells territory. In his territory, the Lord of the Nine Hell is invincible. The Masha clansman immediately used his natural ability domain. So, no matter how strong the resistance was, the universe itself was made up of time and space. Every inch of space was space. The Masha clansman instantly turned into space and then back into the Masha clansman, instantly advancing 10,000 kilometers. Who? The Masha clansman began to use his natural ability domain, advancing over 100 times in a second, crazily advancing downwards. It was just that everywhere he passed, there was endless blood red energy current, and the resistance of the blood red energy current was ridiculously strong. The Masha clansman couldn't move it at all. The main body is below, and I'm right above his head. The Masha clansman could clearly sense it. Faster. The Masha clansman crazily used his innate ability. Although he was very tired, after using it for 6 hours, he only rested for 20 minutes before continuing to advance downwards. Just as the Masha clansman was doing his best to pass through the Netherworld realm, within the Netherworld realm, amidst the huge group of native warriors that had formed a huge encirclement, 3 figures with powerful auras flew over from afar. They were precisely the prince and the 2 venerables under him. Your Highness the Prince. In midair, The Universe Supremacy General bowed respectfully. "Greetings, Your Highness the Prince." The thousands of warriors in the surrounding space all knelt down, incomparably respectful and pious. "Ha ha ha." The prince smiled. "An undying outsider was actually able to make my territory so lively. Ha ha. If the venerables meet him, they are forbidden from killing him. Leave it to me. As for the other soldiers, you can use your full strength. Pass down my order, retract the net," His Royal Highness ordered. "Yes," the blood-horned general respectfully replied. At the same time, the prince's order was transmitted to the other 8 generals through the virtual world. Following the orders of the 9 generals, the encirclement that had been set up for a long time finally began to retract. P.S. Here comes the first chapter. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1008. With the prince's order, the huge encirclement began to shrink. The entire encirclement had a diameter of 30 billion kilometers, with over 100 million aboriginal warriors. The Sector Lord Warriors and Undying Warriors ratio was about 1,001. These Sector Lord Warriors may not be able to stop Luo Feng, but they were enough to be his eyes. Such a huge encirclement. Even if he flew at sublight speed, he would still need 2 to 3 days to get through. The encirclement was split into 9 layers. The inner 8 layers were all Sector Lord-level warriors. The outermost layer was the Undying Warriors and the Universe Lord Generals. That outsider definitely won't be able to escape. He has already fallen into the encirclement. Being captured and killed is the only outcome. The Sector Lord Warriors were separated by tens of thousands of km. They began to swiftly advance. Their world energy was immediately unleashed, drawing on the energy of the 9 underworld, sweeping a large area. No outsider could escape. The encirclement shrunk and continued to advance. After about 3 hours, outsider. It's an outsider. A Sector Lord Warrior that was flying swiftly stopped, gazing at the ground below, simultaneously reporting the situation. Sela, the dried-up ground, suddenly tore open. A silver-armored, silver-winged silhouette swiftly rushed into the sky, emitting a powerful energy. His speed was extremely fast. Chase. This Sector Lord Warrior chased with all his might. However, the difference in strength was too huge. So. Tens of Sector Lord Warriors chased from all directions. However, they could only watch as the silver-armored, silver-winged silhouette rushed out of the encirclement. "We can't escape. We are just at the innermost layer of the encirclement. There are a total of 9 layers." These Sector Lord Warriors began to retreat, returning to their positions. At this time, the entire north of the encirclement stopped advancing. The 2nd, 3rd, 4th, the Sector Lord Warriors of the 8th layer all began to chase. Xiao. The silver-armored, silver-winged silhouette continued to flee, swiftly shaking off the Sector Lord Warriors. He sure is fast. This outsider's speed is really fast. In the outermost 9th layer, the Undying Warriors had long begun to gather. Actually, the Sector Lord Warriors of the first 8 layers were chasing. In truth, they wanted to confirm the outsider's exact location. This way, the warriors of the outermost 9th layer could gather ahead of time, gathering at the crucial location. From the 1st to the 9th, the silver-armored, silver-winged silhouette flew for close to 30 minutes. He has already passed through the 8th floor and is about to arrive. Everyone, be careful. This outsider is extremely fast. According to our previous reports, even our clan's leader can't catch up to him. So one-on-one is definitely not possible. Our teams will surround him and attack him together, using our attacks to stop him. Close to 800 Undying Warriors had split into 3 teams and were ready to attack. 30 minutes was enough for an Undying Warrior to fly hundreds of millions of kilometers. That was why all the Undying Warriors within hundreds of millions of kilometers had gathered here. A total of 800 Undying Warriors. In another corner of the encirclement, His Royal Highness was there. I didn't expect him to run in that direction. His Royal Highness shook his head. It's a pity that I couldn't fight him right away. I hope he's strong enough to withstand the first wave of attacks from 800 undying warriors and survive with 20% or 30% of his divine body intact. That way, I can personally meet this outsider. His Royal Highness, that outsider isn't simple. Under the attacks of 800 undying warriors, even though he definitely can't escape, he should be able to keep his life. A skinny Universe Supreme said respectfully. They begun. His Royal Highness' eyes lit up. Through the virtual world, he could see everything clearly. 3 teams, close to 800 undying warriors. The outsider has appeared, 9 underworld attack. These close to 800 undying warriors with the highest authority immediately gave the order. All the undying warriors simultaneously raised their thick right arms, letting out roars. Following that, their arms immediately ignited, emitting a blood-red divine light. The blood-colored energy in this area was completely drawn over, madly gathering towards each of the immortal warriors. Above each undying warrior's right arm appeared a blurry blood-colored blade aura. Above the 200 undying warriors, 200 blood-colored blade aura directly gathered, forming a huge blood blade. The 3 undying teams each had a huge blood blade condensed in the air. The blood blade was madly absorbing the blood energy in the air, causing its power to continuously grow until it reached the limit of what the undying warriors could control. Shio! The silver-armored, silver-winged figure appeared. Seeing the distant undying team, he immediately panicked and fled. Unfortunately, the other 2 directions also had an undying team. Apart from retreating, he had nowhere to run. Attack! The order was given. 3 teams in 3 directions. Close to 800 undying warriors simultaneously waved their right arms. Hua! The huge blood blade immediately flew through the air, unstoppable wherever it passed. 3 huge blood blades simultaneously slashed towards the silver-armored, silver-winged figure. The silver-armored, silver-winged figure's aura soared as he desperately tried to flee. But how could he match the speed of the blood blades? Rumble! The blood blades flew hundreds of thousands of kilometers. When they neared, the 3 huge blood blades simultaneously exploded. The terrifying power was like a super expert self-destructing nearby. The boundless power instantly swept through the silver-armored, silver-winged figure. A mournful cry of pain resounded through the sky. Under this power, the silver-armored, silver-winged figure directly turned into nothingness, disappearing without a trace. The foreign undying is dead. Close to 800 undying warriors quickly flew over, divine power sweeping through. Only an ordinary undying weapon and a world ring are left. His Royal Highness received the news immediately. Dead. The prince was very shocked. He heard that the foreign undying speed was faster than the captain-level undying warriors of his side, so he knew that the other party wasn't ordinary. Because in the 9 Netherworld realm, the people of the same race were strengthened, while the other races were suppressed. Your Highness, the undying warriors of the 9 Netherworld realm were just a catalyst for the joint attack of the 9 Netherworld realm. It's not strange for them to kill the foreign race. If there are enough undying warriors and the world energy is strong enough, it's even possible to kill a universe venerable. The muscular universe venerable said respectfully. The prince ordered through the virtual world, check the world ring. A moment later, he received the report. Within the world ring, there weren't any treasures, just some ordinary undying items. To the prince, they were just trash. Fake. That dead foreign race is definitely fake. The prince shook his head. To be faster than our captain-level undying warriors, he's definitely not ordinary in the outside world. How can he only have these few things? Maybe he's just good at escaping. The skinny universe venerable said, let's sweep through the area first. The prince said, at the same time giving orders through the virtual world. All undying warriors, return to your positions. The prince ordered, continue to shrink the encirclement. The 800 undying warriors retreated. Previously, they spent close to 30 minutes gathering. Now, Returning to their original positions also took close to 30 minutes. Going back and forth, because of this silver-armored, silver-winged figure, they had already wasted an hour. Another 2 hours later. Discovered foreign race. Discovered foreign race. The news spread. What? Another foreign race? Didn't the foreign race die? The prince who was controlling the entire encirclement laughed loudly when he received the news. I knew that foreign race couldn't be underestimated. From the looks of it, he must have used an undying slave before, letting the undying slave transform into him to lure us. Your Majesty, what do we do now? The second foreign race that appears may not be him. The two universe venerables looked at the prince. Even though they had their own thoughts, the prince's position was extremely high. No matter right or wrong, they usually listened to him. Continue according to the original plan. Every foreign race that appears has to be dealt with carefully. The prince said confidently, if we're careless and one escapes, who knows, the one that escapes might be the one we want to capture. But this way, the encirclement will shrink slower. Even if it's slower, we have to steadily sweep through the area. Wipe out all foreign races. Don't let a single one escape. This way, the foreign race definitely won't be able to escape. The prince ordered. Indeed, everything was as the prince had guessed. Those were the undying slaves Luo Feng sent out. Every undying slave fought to escape within the encirclement, attracting large numbers of undying warriors and finally getting killed. However, every time the undying warriors gathered and returned to their original positions, the shortest would be 1 hour, the longest would be 2 hours. Within the weeds, Luo Feng frowned as he pondered over the entire plan. Fortunately, there are quite a few of my servants who are masters of the soul. They all have dozens or even hundreds of servants. In fact, their servants also have servants. Luo Feng didn't care about those slaves. Every undying slave's speed might not be faster than the aboriginal sector lords. However, the moment they ignited their god energy, their strength would rise by 1,000 times. Every undying slave far surpassed the sector lord warriors. Undying slave after undying slave, sacrificing their lives, constantly stalling for time. Quick, quick, quick! Luo Feng was anxious within. The slaves I've sent out only cause one side of the encirclement to slow down. The other 3 sides are still advancing, simultaneously blocking all 4 sides. Every day, I delay, always close to 100 slaves. Luo Feng thought. The undying slaves are still very useful. Whether it's for the God Country transfer or as bait, etc., I can't waste them so crazily. Luo Feng looked up at the sky. Right above his head, within the blood energy flow, the Masha clansman was constantly unleashing its natural talent domain, heading downwards time and time again. Quick! Now it's just a matter of whether his encirclement shrinks faster or my Masha clansman rushes over faster. Luo Feng was anxious. He had previously planned to let the slaves escape and gather the undying warriors at the outermost area of the encirclement. Then he would take advantage of the area's defense to escape. However, after thinking about it carefully, he realized the chances of success weren't high, because the encirclement was very intricate. Even though it was roughly circular, in truth it had 9 layers. Especially the last layer was more like a gear. Some of the undying warriors would scatter very far away. And even though a large portion of them would be attracted, there would still be a small number of undying warriors that acted as sentries. With the gear structure of the sentries, taking turns to chase after Luo Feng, watching him for 1 to 2 hours wasn't hard. This is still my luck. If my luck was bad, with the slaves frequently escaping in that direction, they could arrange for a universe night to be there, and I'd be done for. Luo Feng thought. The safest method is for the Masha clansman to come. He's most proficient in hiding and escaping. Luo Feng looked up at the sky. To be continued. If you like this work, please come Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1009. In the depths of this land, there was an endless amount of blood energy gathered. This was the forbidden land of the entire 9 Darkness world. Even a universe knight couldn't enter too deep within. However, within this forbidden land, so, the Masha clansman flickered time and time again, heading downwards. I have to hurry. As the Masha clansman tried his best to pass through the Nine Darkness World's blood energy layer, the huge encirclement was still steadily shrinking. The 39th, look, I've said it before, this foreign undying is not simple. To be able to produce so many undying slaves, how can he be a normal warrior? The prince smiled. Your majesty is wise. The two universe supremacies flattered. Undying slaves camouflage and escape. Even two undying slaves, one hidden in the other's world ring, taking advantage of the other's death, and our warriors slacking to suddenly appear and escape. Or maybe three undying slaves attacking the same defense line in different areas. However, I have over 100 million warriors under me. How can he escape? The prince was confident. That foreign undying is just his last struggle. The skinny universe knight said. Very quickly, he'll have nowhere to run. The other knights said. The prince nodded. Right now, the encirclement is only half of what it was before. Our warrior numbers are much more than before. Half of the warriors will still follow the previous plan. The other half will continue to advance. No matter if we meet the foreign undying or not, we'll continue to advance. I want to use my fastest speed to wipe them all out. This way, even if the foreign undying sends slaves, they won't be able to slow down our encirclement. The prince's eyes gleamed. The two universe supremacies agreed. Indeed, as the encirclement shrunk, the aboriginal warrior numbers were much more than before. With the order, half of the sector lord warriors and undying warriors began to swiftly advance into the encirclement. Wipe them all out. Not good. Within the grass, Luo Feng's expression changed. Through the undying he sent out, he was clear of the encirclement's movements. You're actually ignoring my servant and charging straight in? Luo Feng understood with a thought. This was due to the encirclement shrinking. What do I do? What do we do now? Luo Feng panicked. According to Luo Feng's calculations before, there was plenty of time. The only problem was the number of undyings used. But now, the slave undying didn't want to waste any more time, so he was in trouble. Hurry, 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 hurry. Luo Feng looked up at the endless blood-colored energy in the sky. The encirclement was now divided into an outer and an inner encirclement. The encirclement was still the same as before. The inner encirclement didn't care about the other undying beings, only caring about charging in and sweeping through everything, clearly understanding the arrangements of the other undying beings. Charge! 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 The undying servants rushed out one after another, easily breaking out of the encirclement because no one stopped them at all. One day later, the tens of millions of soldiers in the inner encirclement finally began to gather. Your Royal Highness, we have swept through the entire encirclement. Pass down my orders. The inner encirclement is to expand and move closer to the outer encirclement. At the same time, kill any outsiders you encounter. The prince gave the order. At this time, the entire encirclement had become much smaller. Similarly, the density of the warriors in the large area had also increased. Luo Feng was already in an extremely dangerous situation. Encirclement? Luo Feng gritted his teeth. I'll go all out and fight for the last bit of time. The Masha clansmen will probably arrive in 3 hours and 17 minutes. I have to fight for this bit of time. Even though the high and mighty Nine Underworld Lord owed the primal chaos city leader a favor. But how important was a favor from the Nine Underworld Lord? Luo Feng definitely wouldn't use it easily. As long as I can escape from the lower levels, with the Nine Underworld Lord's arrogance, he shouldn't act against me. I've never heard of the Nine Underworld Lord directly acting against an inheritor. Luo Feng thought. With a wave of his hand, another 6 undying servants appeared, all bowing respectfully. Master's master. Master's master's master. Listen to my orders. Luo Feng ordered. Yes. The 6 servants transformed into Luo Feng and swiftly flew out according to his orders. Luo Feng had truly gone crazy. The encirclement from the inner and outer encirclement was simultaneously advancing and killing all outsiders. However, because they were killing all outsiders, the outsider charge would cause the encirclement to pause. Every pause and wait for the undying warriors to return would waste quite a bit of time. However, as the distance got smaller and smaller, the warriors became more numerous. Hence, every attack would only pause for a short period of time. Your Majesty, very quickly, the encirclement will close in. That outsider won't be able to escape no matter what. The two knights were filled with anticipation. The prince nodded, slightly with a smile on his face. A turtle in a jar? A final struggle? That outsider, undying, struggled with all his might, making the prince very happy. He really doesn't want to die, the prince thought. Otherwise, he wouldn't struggle so hard even though he knows he's in a hopeless situation. However, you will eventually fall in my hands. I'll take a good look at what this outsider has up his sleeves. The prince was filled with anticipation. In his long life, he had very little fun. Luo Feng looked up at the sky, his expression filled with glee. So, a silhouette appeared in mid-air, almost like teleportation, flickering time and time again. In a blink of an eye, it had already arrived below and stopped. It was the Masha clansman. He's here. Luo Feng let out a sigh of relief and swiftly entered the Masha clansman's world ring. The Masha clansman's body shook and a black energy flowed. He immediately became an aboriginal undying warrior, that blood-red body and blood-red horn. Even his energy was copied. Back when Luo Feng had just arrived in the netherworld, he was one of the hundreds of undying warriors that chased him. Continuously for over a day, every second I use my natural abilities over 100 times, my consciousness is about to go crazy from exhaustion. The native devil killer warrior let out a sigh of relief. This past day had been far too tiring. He hadn't been able to relax for even a moment. In truth, he had been constantly using his innate ability at such a high frequency. Even the Universe Knights, many of their willpower couldn't handle that sort of fatigue. Luo Feng's willpower was very strong. Along with his thirst for life, he managed to keep up. I estimate there's still 11 minutes before the encirclement reaches me. The Masha warrior smiled. It's a pity you're too late. The encirclement and the encirclement of over 100 million Aboriginal warriors were already very close. They began their final slaughter. High up in the sky, the prince floated high up in mid-air, looking down at the vast land. All the warriors that noticed the prince naturally bowed respectfully. Ha! The final slaughter. Very quickly, every space has my warriors. I want to see where these aliens can escape to. The prince was extremely happy. However, after 20 minutes, Your Highness, my subordinates have searched everywhere and haven't found any strong aliens. My subordinates haven't found any strong aliens either. Haven't found any, the general swiftly reported. This caused the prince to be dumbfounded. How can there be none? The prince roared at the 9 generals in the virtual world. The 9 generals all reported. Your Highness, while we were sweeping through the area, we killed 83 suspicious foreigners that were trying to escape. The combined attack of us, the undying warriors, activated the power of the netherworld realm, and all the peak-level kings severing powerhouses outside were instantly killed. It's very likely that the alien undying died in the process. Right, Your Highness, we found a suspicious alien. He's extremely fast and strong, and he left behind quite a few treasures after he died. It's very likely that he's the one we're looking for. It should be him. When the 9 generals all reported, the prince became even angrier. No, it's definitely not him. The one that reported first was even faster than the captain-level undying warrior. Since he's this fast, he's definitely not a normal expert. And up until now, we haven't found any such alien. Search for him. We must find him. His Royal Highness roared. Yes, yes. In front of the prince's anger, the 9 generals could only obediently obey. However, no matter how hard the 100 million warriors searched, they couldn't find anything. Of course I can't, because I'm one of you warriors. The Masha race undying warrior was very relaxed, because under the orders of the incomparably furious prince, over 100 million warriors were frantically searching, flying in all directions. He also took the chance to fly into the distance. Every warrior was in charge of an area. Naturally, he was the same. Hence, without turning back, he flew far away. No matter how the prince roared in anger, the hundreds of millions of soldiers couldn't find him no matter how hard they searched the land. Finally, the prince was unwilling to give up and could only order the warriors to return to their positions. The Masha clan warriors weren't in a rush to leave. With the Masha clan clone, I can hide my aura and change my identity. They won't be able to find me. Secondly, even if they find me, with my innate skill domain, even a universe venerable won't be able to stop me. One couldn't blame the Masha clan for being so confident. After all, in the netherworld, universe venerables couldn't teleport. Those experts couldn't teleport. And the Masha clan clone could use its innate skill domain. Who could catch up to it? A secluded aboriginal city. The Masha clan warrior flew in the sky for a while. Along the way, he met other wandering aboriginal warriors. None of them suspected Luo Feng, because there had never been any trouble in the netherworld. This city doesn't even have city walls. With a glance, there were large amounts of buildings outside the city. Many blood-colored bodies and blood-horned aboriginals lived there. Within the city, there was a tall city wall that should be the inner city. Luo Feng guessed that there should be some powerful warriors with high positions in the inner city. P.S. This week, there was a delay. Hence, this Saturday I'll update a new chapter. It's rare for me to update a new chapter every Saturday. I'm going out to do something, so I'll update earlier today. HMHM. If you like this work, please come to Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1010. In this foreign race world, Luo Feng walked calmly. Looking around, there were many aboriginals living within the buildings. These aboriginals all had blood-colored bodies and blood-colored horns. Some were like babies, not even reaching his knees, yet they were running around on the ground. Some were like children, and had already begun to fight with each other to see who was stronger. An infant is a star traveler. An adult is a sector lord. Luo Feng looked around. As long as one reached the height of an aborigine, they were all sector lords. No wonder there were so many world overlords among the aboriginal warriors who chased after me earlier. This aboriginal race is really strong, much stronger than the golden horn race I've been to before. In the universe, they probably have the right to be ranked as a strong race. Luo Feng thought. Suddenly, a voice rang in his ears. The three native babies were running around and playing. Their planetary state power allowed them to run very fast. When they were playing, they would send the other babies flying with one punch. That blood-colored curved horn added a tinge of cuteness. I was born in the ancestral sea, so you should serve me as your leader. Being born in the ancestral sea, absorbing the essence of the ancestral sea is a good talent, but it doesn't mean you will definitely become undying. We were born in the imperial sea, but we are still stronger than you. If you don't like me, I'll beat you until you do. Who's afraid of whom? The three babies were playing with each other. Luo Feng turned as he heard this, looking at the distant three infants, thinking they look like infants, but just like the golden-horned beast, born with high intellect. I'm afraid he's comparable to ordinary human youths. Born from the ancestral sea, born in the sovereign sea, absorbing the essence of the ancestral sea. Many thoughts flashed through Luo Feng's mind. Don't tell me these aboriginals aren't born from my mother? That's right, they are energy-type life forms, and the birth of energy-type life forms is indeed very different. From the sounds of it, some natives are born from the ancestral sea, and some natives are born from the imperial sea. Zuhai, it sounds like he's one level higher. The Emperor Ocean, with the Emperor's name, along the way, the aboriginals I've met, they've long heard that the prince had led over 100 million soldiers to surround and kill me. The prince's position is high. Then there's definitely an even higher emperor. Luo Feng thought. Ancestral sea, imperial sea, prince. Luo Feng's mind was filled with many questions, after which he continued walking. The aboriginals all bowed respectfully when they saw Luo Feng. This Luo Feng had long known. In this aboriginal world, undying level warriors were extremely respectful. It was a majestic ancient city with countless natives living there. This ancient city was much bigger than the one Luo Feng was currently in, because this was where the princes lived. The universe knights and generals all had their own residences here too. Ancient city, imperial palace. Bastard. Damn it. His Royal Highness paced back and forth in the hall, his brows furrowed and his teeth clenched from time to time. All the servants had left, leaving only His Royal Highness in the hall. Outside the main hall, all the servants were trembling with fear. They didn't know why His Highness had suddenly flown into a rage and even directly executed 3 servants. You actually dare to laugh at me. Didn't you just become a universe supremacy earlier than me? You actually dare to laugh at me? You still believe that an outsider undying definitely can't escape detection, that I am just thinking randomly. His Royal Highness clenched his teeth. As a high and mighty being in this world, even the universe supremacies had to respect him. To the Royal Highness, his subordinates didn't even dare to provoke him. The only ones who dared to provoke him were his brothers. 108 brothers. Naturally, they competed time and time again, competing against each other. This time, the matter of them surrounding and killing an outsider undying naturally couldn't be hidden anymore. They were actually laughed at. I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. His Royal Highness fiercely waved his arm. Rumble, the doors to the hall closed, scaring the servants outside into not daring to make a single sound. Within the hall, only the huge pillars glowed with a faint red light, causing the entire hall to glow red. Father, Father, your child requests an audience with Father. His Royal Highness fiercely raised his head and shouted. Rumble. An unparalleled energy suddenly descended within the hall. The powerful energy of the netherworld began to gather. However, such a huge commotion. The servants outside the hall didn't feel anything at all. The inside and outside of the hall were like 2 different worlds. The energy of the netherworld gathered, gradually forming the outline of a huge blurry face. My child, the huge head looked at the Royal Highness. Father. The Royal Highness first respectfully bowed, then said unhappily, this time your child commanded over 100 million warriors to surround and kill an outsider undying, killing many of his servants. Even in the end, your child was sure that the outsider undying didn't die. I even summoned the 300 undying warriors stationed in the Netherworld Whirlpool back then. Those undying warriors who chased and killed the outsider undying all said, that outsider undying was incredibly fast. The servants we killed afterwards were all different. Their words also confirm that my guess is correct. But, His Royal Highness gritted his teeth. The huge head looked down, its voice cold as it said slowly, but your subordinates and your brothers all think that you're delusional, right? Yes. His Royal Highness nodded, saying unwillingly, but you're right. They're right. Searching with the netherworld energy and not finding the outsider. They think that you're delusional. The huge head looked down at the Royal Highness. However, that outsider undying is indeed still alive. Alive? He's really alive? The Royal Highness was instantly overjoyed, laughing out loud. I knew that outsider undying was definitely alive. Back then when I received the information, I knew that outsider undying was definitely not simple. Not simple, extremely not simple. The huge head said coldly. Then how did he escape the search of my army? The Royal Highness asked. Regarding this, he was also curious. His brother had asked him this before. Searching with the netherworld energy, all the outsiders were revealed. Now that the 100 million army couldn't find him, it's obvious that the outsider undying was already killed. You said he's alive. Then let me ask you, how did that outsider undying escape the search? The Royal Highness was also filled with questions. Because he has a disguise method. The huge head looked down. He can disguise as anyone from my netherworld race. The Royal Highness didn't dare believe it. Then, then we have to hurry and kill him. If he can disguise as anyone from our race, we'll be doomed. The huge head suddenly snorted coldly. The Royal Highness instantly came to his senses, obediently not saying anything. Even though his father loved his brothers, his father was very cold and proud. It was already good enough that he loved them, but if these princes dared to criticize his father's matters, then they would be punished. You should hurry and train. Step into the realm of the universe like your 3 brothers. That way, I can bring you out to Rome. The huge head said before disappearing. That terrifying aura also dissipated. Only then did the Royal Highness let out a sigh of relief. That's good. The Royal Highness felt some lingering fear. Earlier, when he realized that he said something wrong, he immediately, obediently kept quiet. If he dared to argue, then he would be in deep trouble. Universe realm. I will definitely reach it, definitely. The moment the Royal Highness thought about this, his eyes immediately filled with boundless killing intent. That was a killing intent that had been suppressed for countless years. Because all of the princes and brothers had to reach the realm of the universe before they had the right to leave their home and roam the outside world. Luo Feng walked amongst the many buildings. Suddenly, he saw a group of babies playing around. Come here. Luo Feng waved at one of them. The one that was the happiest, obviously the leader of the children, immediately ran over obediently and bowed respectfully. Greetings, Undying. Luo Feng smiled and asked, You were born in the ancestral sea. Yes. That baby rubbed his horns and said shyly. Luo Feng nodded. According to his deductions, the aboriginals born in the ancestral sea were naturally stronger than those born in the imperial sea. They were considered more outstanding. Like a group of babies playing around, those born in the ancestral sea were usually the leaders. Tell me about the ancestral sea, Luo Feng ordered. Lord Undying has never been to the ancestral sea. The baby seemed very excited, following which he said proudly, the ancestral sea is outside our world. Even if we are born in the ancestral sea, the moment we leave it and enter our world, we'll never be able to return. Unless we become undying, we'll have to pass through the 9 underworld whirlpool to enter the ancestral sea. Luo Feng was stunned when he heard this. Ancestral sea? 9 underworld whirlpool? Outside? Don't tell me it's the 9 underworld ocean. Luo Feng couldn't help but think. The ancestral sea is very vast. The Aboriginals said, endless, it's right above our world. It said it's even bigger than our world. Those born in the Imperial Sea can't compare to us at all. There's a total of 108 Imperial Seas. Even the largest one isn't even a little bigger than the Ancestral Sea. Luo Feng felt a knot within. Above? Even bigger than this world? 9 underworld ocean. Luo Feng trembled within. The entire 9 underworld space is actually just a 9 underworld ocean. There are only a few islands on it. So the 9 underworld ocean will give birth to some aboriginals. That baby boasted. Obviously, he was very proud of being born in the ancestral sea. Even though Luo Feng's heart was in turmoil, on the surface he still nodded, smiling. Being born in the Imperial Sea, it's not bad. Have you been there before? I've never been. The baby shook his head, seemingly understanding that this Undying was born in the Imperial Sea, saying, the Imperial Sea isn't bad either, especially the largest one. I'm still young now. Once I get stronger, I'll still be able to go. Luo Feng immediately understood. Able to go. It wasn't easy for these aboriginals to leave this world. Even meeting the ancestral sea was hard. Since it was easy to meet the Imperial Sea, then it would definitely be within the 9 underworld. P.S. Chapter 1 has ended. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation.